cancellation guide absolutely free.
Get your free guide at iCancelTimeshare.com. That's iCancelTimeshare.com. iCancelTimeshare.com.
Calling all fall and winter RN graduates. Lifespan invites you to join us at our hiring event on October 8th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Rhode Island Nursing Education Center in Providence, Rhode Island. We will have managers on site to conduct interviews for full and part-time positions across all shifts. At Lifespan, you'll enjoy competitive pay and an extensive benefits package. To register, visit jobs.lifespan.org and click on events.
The only place to hear the game, the Sports Hub.
And welcome back to Patriots Preview, driven by the all-electric Honda Prologue. It is Jim Murray, Chris Gasper here, now down on the field at Gillette Stadium as we're getting ready and closer to kickoff for the Patriots and Miami Dolphins. Both teams coming into their Week 5 matchup 1 and 3. And time for Scott Zolak to set the scene. Hello and good afternoon, Zoe.
Hi, guys. How we doing?
Good. Picture-perfect day for football. A little bit crisp, fall, hitting weather.
Always a great day to play the Dolphins. Always get to see my buddy Dan Marino. Good to chat with him. He looked great. Not doing much over there. Hands in his pocket, sunglasses on, soaking up rays. Typical Dan Marino.
So talk to me about some of the things going into this game with the Patriots defense. I saw you retweet yesterday, and rightfully so, like, oh no, when we found out that Jabril Peppers was going to be ruled out of this game. No Kyle Duggar, so concerns for the secondary today. Obviously, the Dolphins have had their offensive woes, but still a lot of talent on that team.
Yeah, and I think it's Marte Mapu and Hawkins back there today with potentially Brendan Schooler getting reps back there at safety. Like, I mean, that's what you're down to after that. And then practice squad guys. Plus, they're banged up at corner. Jonathan Jones and Marcus Jones, questionable coming in. So they're dealing with some injuries. And that's a tough one because Jonathan Jones has always done a really good job against Tyreek Hill. He's the guy assigned to Hill because he's a good pro. He gets his route running, so he anticipates well. But I think you've got to be a major cover two today. Get back, get two guys back deep, and don't let the big play over the top. But the scary thing was Miami, the big plays are slants and crossers. These guys catch a 3-yard pass, and they take it 60 yards. Waddle and Tyreek are very dangerous.
Zoe setting the scene is brought to you by Comcast with an advanced network, cybersecurity solutions, and trusted partnership. Comcast Business, powering more businesses than anyone. Restrictions apply. Call or visit ComcastBusiness.com to learn more.
Zoe, just curious for your thoughts on the offensive line. You know, Scott Peters talked this week about feeling like Owenu's better at right guard. The warm-ups are indicating that's where he's going to play today, and DeMontre Jacobs will be at right tackle, and Vidarian Lowe comes back at left tackle. What are your feelings on this offensive line? 5 games, 5 different combinations.
Well, Leverett at center, that's the big switch here. We know David Andrews. David Andrews, all-world type center. He's out for the year, and Michael Jordan gets a start at left guard. So I understand why they flipped Jacobs over. Lowe is the guy that really is your left tackle in a perfect world, and it's kind of funny we're saying perfect world with Vidarian Lowe is your left tackle. We've seen him before, but this is the 5th game in 5 games where they've had multiple guys across the board. They have no continuity up front. And that's a big reason why the offense looks the way it looks. And there were times last week Jacoby had guys open, and he could have got the ball, but he didn't. And the pick 6 killed him, and we'll be watching that today. He can't turn it over. Can't turn it over here today.
And a big part of this, too, the rookie Layden Robinson bench. So you drafted 2 guys in the draft to try and help the offensive line. One, Hayden Wallace, is on IR and has done his best work as a tackle eligible. The other guy just got benched.
Yeah, that's a tough thing. You watch Wallace and say, how the hell is this kid from Penn State playing here? But then you watch Penn State yesterday. The entire line is 6'6", 6'7". Tarucci's kid 6'8". He's there, transferred from Wisconsin. And it just tackles out the wazoo. And why can't we get good tackles? You know, everybody says, hey, this kid from LSU, once he's gone, it's going to be a very weak draft. You mean to tell me that all the tackles that start in the SEC can't play at the next level? I don't buy it. There'll be tackles there.
So the way you're just talking about, you can't turn the ball over today for Jacoby Brissett. Do you get any hints that he could be on a short leash? If that did happen, we could see Drake May?
I do think he's on that clock right now where the next turnover will start to poke some eyes out. Okay, then you can start watching. Because I think we're about a week or maybe 2 weeks away here from May time. I think it should have been this week. I really do. Because I think you've got a stretch of games here where you can be competitive and at least maybe have a chance to win these next 4. Because you get the Texans next week. Texans are better than Miami. If things go poorly here next week, maybe May plays a little bit in that game, and then you start him in London against a bad Jacksonville team.
What's the feeling on getting Kendrick Bourne back? You know, he's right off of a PUP, and they're ready to go with him. KJ Osborne is hurt, obviously, so he's not playing in this one, but they go right to Bourne. What are they hoping he can add to this offense that's only gotten one touchdown reception so far this year from a wide receiver?
Productivity, excitement, and leadership. I was outside Gerard's office waiting to talk to him, and Kendrick came in today, a couple hours ago, and he had a red, white, and blue suit on, no shirt, all skin underneath, and then the necklace. And he came in shouting and yelling. He was excited to see me. I said, man, I'm excited to see you out there. Give me something to yell about today, because it hasn't been too good offensively. You need a veteran guy out there to lead, because Osborne and Tyquan Thornton are giving you nothing.
All right, talk to us about the benching of Ramondre Stevenson. Do you think this is like a benching, or it's going to be more Wes Welker 2010 divisional playoff?
I think it's that.
The Jets. Yeah,
I think it's that, because they know he's their best player, but you send the message like, we're not starting. We're starting Gibson today. And Gerard was on that this week. He told me that on TV, and that's kind of when this thing broke. But he's like, if we don't do these things, then what good is it saying if you don't hold people accountable? He could miss. First 3 series of the game, they could have 3 and out, and then go in and play well, and then that could really affect how poorly your team could be behind the 8 ball to start the game. I heard people talk about this. What's a big deal? Benching him a quarter. Miami could be up 10-0 at the end of the first quarter, and then you're chasing dogs after that.
So you alluded to it a little bit, or at least Coach Mayo did a little bit at the end there. How is he handling the reports this week about, mutiny in the locker room, whether you want to call it that, or grumbling, or guys being, maybe disenchanted at this point with the 3-game losing streak and the direction of the team?
He finds it ridiculous, as I do. I didn't bring up the question. I wasn't even going to go there. He's the one that brought it up at the end of the interview, and I said, I wasn't going to ask, and he said, yeah. And I'm like, talked to him after, and I'm like, dude, 4 games in here. This can't be happening. He's like, it's not happening. He says, that the part that bugs me is it's people trying to put a spot out there to try and get something off it, get somebody to react off the comment. And he said it couldn't be further from the truth from this locker room. I'm as transparent with this team as any coach has ever been, and pretty much everybody came to support him this week after that report came out.
All right, you talk about the clock that the team probably has for Jacoby Brissett. What do you think the crowd's going to be like, Zoe, if we see a pick
Different
or two
story.
early?
Different story. I would say it's going to be like you had it with Zappy and Mack.
Yeah.
It's not a dumb football crowd. They want to see him. They know the number 3 pick's just sitting there on a team that's 1-3, and you're not using them. It's time to get something going here at some point. And I thought Cerrone Battle on our station had some of the best tweets and comments on this. Joe Thomas ain't walking through that door week 10. What the hell are you waiting on?
Yeah.
You're that afraid to eliminate hits on him? That's how you're going to operate as a football team? I'm past it. I'm ready for it.
I'm with you. And look, you played it at the highest level, and it's an inherently violent game. You know that. These guys are going to get hit.
Yeah, I saw Drew Bledsoe get his ass kicked. We threw him in there week 1 in Buffalo. Head almost got decapitated. You learn from it. You know what? You actually learn to get rid of the ball quicker when you get your bell rung.
All right. So have a good call.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that is Scott Zolak setting the scene here at Gillette Stadium. We will return to wrap things up and, again, go through that list of inactives one more time before we get ready for kickoff between the Patriots and Dolphins here at Gillette Stadium. That's all coming up here in the Safety Insurance 98.5 Sports Hub, Patriots Radio Network.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real-person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You want to deliver the best retail experiences, but it's hard, especially with multiple stores, staff, fulfillment centers, GMVs, KPIs, OKRs, and the only thing harder is being in charge of it all. But when you switch to Shopify Point of Sale, you can unify retail operations and guarantee smooth shopping across every location. Shopify POS, the best retail experiences without complexity. Visit shopify.com/without complexity to learn more.
You have year-end goals. Constant Contact has what it takes to help you meet them faster. Sell more, raise more, and build real relationships with your audience with Constant Contact's digital marketing tools, all made to fast-track your success. Put the go in your 2024 goals with email, social, SMS, and customized marketing campaigns built for you in just a few clicks. Ready, set, go to ConstantContact.com and start your free trial today.
Sometimes your phone breaks.
Ugh.
Dude. What the? Oh, seriously? Hey, life happens. But at Verizon in the Providence area, we got you. Trade in any phone from one of our top brands in any condition, guaranteed. And get a great deal on one of our best 5G phones with Unlimited Ultimate. And turn
No!
into, oh, yeah! Visit a Providence area Verizon store today.
At Navigant Credit Union, our customers are our owners, which means your business success is our business success. Own your skill, own your goals, own your credit union. Navigant Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Lead the way to a greener future. A degree from Unity Environmental University sets you on the right path. Our 100% online programs in animal science, marine biology, environmental issues and solutions, wildlife conservation, and more take you beyond the computer and into the field, wherever you may be. Get hands-on experience in protecting and preserving the world around you. Find more information at degrees.unity.edu. Degrees for a greener future.
The Sports Hub is home to your favorite teams, the New England Patriots, the Boston Bruins, and the Boston Celtics. Hear every game home and away right here, and get all the latest news from the front office, the locker room, and more. Tune in, on air, online, or on the Sports Hub app. Download it today. One of our Sports Hub hosts will be with you shortly. Thanks for listening.
Felger and Naz, afternoons 2 to 6 on the Sports Hub.
And welcome back to Patriots Preview, driven by the all-electric Honda Prologue. Again, it's Jim Murray, Chris Gasper, one last time down here at Gillette Stadium on the field. As we're about 20 minutes away from kickoff between the Patriots and Miami Dolphins, their Week 5 matchup, with both teams coming in 1-3. Can give you the Patriots inactives released earlier. Down a couple of wide receivers in KJ Osborne and Javon Baker. Down your starting safeties in Jabril Peppers and Kyle Duggar. So that's not great for the Patriots secondary. Joe Milton is your emergency quarterback. Defensive end, Jamie Croma and Jaheim Bell, the tight end, out as well. But starting with the secondary, we're talking to Zoe setting the scene. He was saying that Brandon Schooler could see action in the secondary today. That feels not great.
Yeah, and Gerard Mayo told Zoe that, Marte Mapu is ready to go. Hopefully he can go the whole game. So that's tough to ask a guy to go the whole game in his first action. You remember last year, Marte Mapu was out there when they gave up a long touchdown to Tyreek Hill.
And as far as the wide receivers are concerned, while we have a couple out today, you get the return of Kendrick Bourne. What do you think we get out of him?
He was their best receiver last year, obviously tore his ACL against Miami, down in Miami. He should be a guy that can uncover maybe a little bit faster. Who knows what the chemistry is with Jacoby Brissett at this point, but I think he steps right in. He's their number one receiver. He's not a number one receiver, but he's their number one receiver. I just have to go back, Javon Baker, healthy scratch. I mentioned with Zoe, Caden Wallace, I know he's hurt, but they haven't gotten much from him. Layden Robinson now, out of the starting lineup. I'm not going to judge a draft class 5 games into the year, but Drake May's not playing. They really need a little more out of this draft class if they're going to be better.
Yeah, no, needless to say. And so far, look, 5 weeks, it is a little bit too premature to start judging a draft class, but so far, it's not that great. No, they are telling us, they are yelling at us to move quickly. Hey. All right, we are good. Okay. All right, so we expecting a low-scoring game, Chris? You think it's going to be a field goal fest like I do?
Yeah, I do. I think it's going to be like a 16-13 type of game.
All right, any other thoughts as we wrap up here? Jacoby Brissett, outside of any kind of injury, and how I felt like this is how we're going to end up seeing Drake May. They're waiting for the almost default thing to happen. He's taken such a beating these last couple of weeks. Do we maybe see May today? Not that you wish for injury, but I feel like some in the crowd here are like, well, that's a shame. But, hey, we get to see Drake May. I feel like there are people clamoring for it in the way that maybe the organization might be clamoring for it, like, hey, we leave it up to the football gods and let the chips fall as they may.
Yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen. But, look, the honest part of this is that part of the reason they brought in Jacoby Brissett was to take some of these hits that they don't want Drake May to take. And look, I never played the position in the NFL, not even close like Zoe, but I do think if you're a quarterback, like Drew Bledsoe was tough as nails, but we've seen a ton of quarterbacks. You take hits early, you develop bad habits, there are things that happen to you mentally. So they're trying to prevent that. Some of the really good quarterbacks like Drew can overcome that. But I think a young quarterback takes a bunch of hits like that. It can really affect him. They want to protect Drake May.
Stay tuned. Bob and Zoe are going to have the call of the game from the DraftKings broadcast booth. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots. And the New England Patriots pregame show has been driven by the all-electric Honda Prologue. Contact your local New England Honda dealers to learn more. Shop online at newengland.hondadealers.com. So thanks to send out executive producer Jeremy Conley and technical producer Kevin Majori back in Waltham. Assistant program director Jim Louth here for Chris Gasper. This is Jim Murray signing off from Gillette Stadium as we get ready for Patriots Dolphins, their Week 5 matchup coming up next.
This has been Patriots Preview, driven by the all-electric Honda Prologue.
Hey, let's make a play. Let's make a play.
Also brought to you by Safety Insurance, Mass General Cancer Center, your local New England Honda dealers, Duncan, America runs on Duncan, Hub International New England, Catches Law, Credit Union's Kids at Heart, Apex Entertainment Center, Dig Safe, Wendy's, 128 Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric, and Drains, Delta Airlines, and by Bud Light.
Hey, set the tone. Set the tone.
By Valvoline Instant Oil Change, Clinton Savings Bank, VA New England, United Ag and Turf, Peerless Spoilers, your New England Ford dealers, Eastern Propane and Oil, Town Fair Tire, Northern Bank in partnership with Heading Home, FindMassMoney.gov, Comcast Business, and by Payblocks.
Finish! Finish! Run!
By Bigelow Tea, United Construction and Forestry, Drains by James, Live Nation, UMass Lowell, your New England Chevy dealers, Reed's Ferry Storage Sheds, Roach Brothers, Dairy Queen, the Peterson School, Miller Lite, your Boston area Nissan dealers, and by Oakers Technologies.
There we go! There we go, fellas!
The Kickoff is next on the Safety Insurance 98.5 The Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network.
You want to deliver the best retail experiences, but it's hard, especially with multiple stores, staff, fulfillment centers, GMVs, KPIs, OKRs, and the only thing harder is being in charge of it all. But when you switch to Shopify Point of Sale, you can unify retail operations and guarantee smooth shopping across every location. Shopify POS, the best retail experiences without complexity. Visit shopify.com/without complexity to learn more.
Listen live on the air, online at 985thesportshub.com, or on the 98.5 The Sports Hub app. Did you know you can get original podcasts, complete shows, and more on the Sports Hub app? Download it today, wherever you get your apps. One of our Sports Hub hosts will be with you in just a few moments. Thanks for listening.
Weather changes. The demands of the job don't. Stop into Red Wing Shoes and get ready to take on the season with up to $40 off your entire purchase. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Unleash your love for animals into a career. Earn your animal science degree 100% online with Unity Environmental University. Master important skills that take you out of the virtual classroom and into your local environment. Learn the future of animal science with sustainability in the forefront. Find a rewarding career while making a real difference. Find out more at degrees.unity.edu and discover what you can do.
At Navigant Credit Union, our customers are our owners, which means when the community thrives, we thrive. Let's make your goals a reality. Own your mission. Own your credit union. Navigant Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Miller Lite is brewed with great taste and only great taste.
Correction, Darryl, it's just less filling.
Tastes great.
Less filling.
Tastes great.
Less filling.
Celebrate responsibly. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Beer. 96 calories and 3.2 grams carbs per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
Football is not a sport for the faint of heart. You've got to go all in all the time. Well, your New England Ford dealers are all in, too, with the Ford F-150, a tough truck with all the space, technology, and versatility you need. F-150, part of Ford F-Series, the #1 selling pickup for 47 years straight. Visit your New England Ford dealers or buyfordnow.com to take advantage of our great offers today. Sales claim based on 1977 to 2023 calendar year total sales.
The home of the Bees, the Sports Hub.
After their season-opening win in Cincinnati, Gerard Mayo's Patriots have faced an unforgiving few weeks, losing 3 straight games awash in a wave of injuries.
I think about Dan Campbell. I think about Shanahan. I think about all those guys that had to weather the storm, and that's what we'll do. And it starts with me. I'll weather the storm. You can write whatever you want.
Meanwhile, quarterback Jacoby Brissett, who's been under constant pressure and increasing scrutiny, remains upbeat.
I don't think it's time for the pity party. I don't think we have time for a pity party,
One player who should brighten the offense's outlook is an always upbeat receiver returning from the injury that ended his 2023.
I think I can help a lot, just doing what I do best, trusting AVP's plan and just the offense's plan and doing what I can, wherever they want to do with me, let's try to make it work and just do the best I can.
Kendrick Bourne is back today in Foxborough, where the Patriots encounter a division rival in similar straits, each in search of the season's second win. Coming up, the Patriots meet the Miami Dolphins.
This is Patriots football.
Set to go. Snap ball down. Kick up. Kick is on the way, and it is good. It's good. It's good. And the Patriots are Super Bowl champions.
The Patriots are brought to you by Safety Insurance, Mass General Cancer Center, your local New England Honda dealers, Duncan, America runs on Duncan, Hub International New England, Catches Law, Credit Union's Kids at Heart, Apex Entertainment Center, Dig Safe, Wendy's, 128 Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric, and Drains, Delta Airlines, and by Bud Light.
Wilson, quick throw. Intercepted by Malcolm Butler with 20 seconds to go in Super Bowl 49.
By Valvoline Instant Oil Change, Clinton Savings Bank, VA New England, United Ag and Turf, Peerless Spoilers, your New England Ford dealers, Hay Blocks, Eastern Propane and Oil, Town Fair Tire, Endless Energy, Northern Bank in partnership with Heading Home, FindMassMoney.gov, Comcast Business, and by D'Angelo Grilled Sandwiches.
Driving forward. Diving to the goal line. It's done. A touchdown. And a title for the Patriots. I can't believe it.
They have completed the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history.
By Bigelow Tea, your Boston area Nissan dealers, Miller Lite, Oakers Technologies, United Construction and Forestry, Drains by James, Live Nation, UMass Lowell, your New England Chevy dealers, Reed's Ferry Storage Sheds, Roach Brothers, Dairy Queen, and by the Peterson School.
And the Patriots are world champions again. Back-to-back world championships. 3 out of 4. Yes, it's a dynasty.
And the Patriots have won their 6th Super Bowl title. Yes, it's still a dynasty.
Now, here's Bob Sosi and Scott Solak.
And hello again, everyone. A very pleasant good afternoon. Welcome to Gillette Stadium for this matchup in Week 5 of 2 AFC East Division foes, the New England Patriots at 1-3 and the Miami Dolphins at a surprising 1-3. Bob Sosi along with Scott Zolak. It is great to have you with us. And though these two teams have gotten to this point, each struggling offensively, the two lowest scoring teams in the NFL, beset by injuries for the Patriots, especially of late on defense, but they lose David Andrews, of course, their center last week versus San Francisco. Another combination, 5th offensive lineup up front in front of Jacoby Brissett today against the Dolphins. They got to get something going offensively early in this matchup.
They really do. And without starting Ramondre Stevenson because of the 4 fumbles in 4 games, Gibson gets a start today. Gibson ran really well against Seattle. So I don't have a problem with Gibson getting some more reps. You just got to keep this game somewhat competitive. You get behind Miami early in this game, things not only could start turning ugly, not only on the field, but off the field. Late arriving crowd here, stadium about half full. We'll see how packed this place gets today and see how unruly they get if things don't go well.
You know, of course, the Dolphins have a lot of individual stars. They had 8 players in the NFL's 100, top 100 list, second only to San Francisco, the team the Patriots faced a week ago out in Santa Clara. But Miami hasn't been able to get the ball to a lot of those stars because they've been without quarterback Tua Tagovailoa with another concussion. We're going to see Snoop Huntley for the 2nd straight start as a Dolphin. For the Patriots, they're playing this game without their 2 safeties, Kyle Duggar and Jabril Peppers. How concerned are you about their absence if the Dolphins get those speedsters in space?
I'm worried actually about the front more than I am about the back end. And I'll tell you why. 2 weeks in a row, they haven't taken the coaching about containment. This will be the 3rd week in a row you face a mobile quarterback. You saw with Rodgers what he did on that Thursday night. And then Brock Purdy, deceptively, really good with his feet and legs. Killed him last week when he got outside the pocket. Mayo told me in the pregame interview they will have scripted runs for Huntley, even on 3rd and 10. So if they're not keeping containment today, then they got some issues up front. Because I think you're going to see a lot of cover 2 today with the deep guys back there, Mapu and Hawkins. And who knows, you might even see Brendan Schooler back there a little bit. Cover 2 back there. Now what scares you is the quick hitters, that slant. Saw it down in Miami on 4th down. Took it for a touchdown right before the half. They will hit you on those type of things. Get your hands up on Huntley. I think you can deflect some of these balls.
Yeah, and the Dolphins get Mostert back today. He missed the game against Tennessee when they really struggled against the Titans offensively. And the Patriots defense certainly has been culpable in this poor start for New England. You look at the last 3 games, they relinquished the lead versus Seattle. And as you mentioned, they did not contain the quarterback. Gave up a lot of big plays the last couple of weeks versus the Jets and the Niners.
Yep, and Mostert's one of my favorite backs in the league to watch and cover and call games against. He runs hard, he runs with purpose. And then A-Chain, he's another good change-up guy for him. Get your hands full in your front and your edge guys today. A lot of responsibility.
Now for a Patriots offense that has been searching, they get some help today at wide receiver. Kendrick Bourne comes back. How much can we expect for Kendrick Bourne today in terms of snap count and contributions production coming off a torn ACL against the Dolphins last year in South Florida?
You're so poor, you're so ineffective on the perimeter. I start him today. I get him out there if he's active. Why are we keeping him on the bench? Get him involved early, get his confidence up. That's a tough thing coming back from an ACL. You want that first hit, you want that first tackle, get that out of the way. But I was ecstatic to see him outside Melo's offense this morning. He came in, no shirt, red, white, and blue suit, his chains on. He was KB, ready to go. And I said, man, I hope you play as well as you look today. And he said, I plan to. So he's a big boost for them.
A lot of conversation in these parts about the mindset of the Patriots collectively. What's your feel? You were just out in the locker room.
They feel, hey, 1-3, we ain't out of this thing. The whole league is 2-3. You see the Jets get their ass kicked today. Who knows? But you got to be able to not only win this one, but then, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Texans, then we go to London to play a very bad Jacksonville team. Then you come back here and you got the Colts. Your season is this next month. I hope in 4 weeks I'll be able to tell you they're in it. Because if not, it's going to be a really long year.
Each of these teams has to be looking at this game the same way as a get-right contest, each at 1-3. Again, in a division matchup here at Gillette. Coming up next, the United Ag and Turf starting lineups and the kickoff on the Safety Insurance 98.5, the Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network.
Spin your passion into a business with Shopify and break sales records with the world's best converting checkout. Let's hear that one more time. The world's best converting checkout. Shopify's legendary checkout makes it easier for customers to shop on your website, across social media, and everywhere in between. Now that's music to your ears. Any way you spin it, you can be a smash hit with Shopify. Start your $1 a month trial today at shopify.com/records.
The games play here.
Right Pasternak steers it to the left corner. Krejci's got it. Right circle, Pasternak fires, he scores! David Pasternak! Jones under center, a give to Stevenson, runs it through the right side. Go! Goal, bounces outside 20, goodbye, to the 10, to the 5, end zone bound! Patriots take the lead! Touchdown, New England!
Bang, bang, 2! You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub. Stay tuned for more.
Is there such a thing as a traveler? Not a Delta. Because we know on one flight, Mike in 8C prefers reality TV to reality. So we provide more than 1,000 hours of in-flight entertainment. While on the flight after, 8C is occupied by Jen, whose favorite snack is tea. That's why we provide fast, free Delta Sync Wi-Fi available for SkyMiles members. Because at Delta, we know. Refill? Everyone flies their own way. Delta. Keep climbing. Free Wi-Fi available on most domestic flights. Terms of use apply.
For all your heating and cooling needs, you need Endless Energy.
The best defense is a good offense. Take your heating system into the end zone this fall with a boiler replacement by Endless Energy. Aging HVAC systems are inefficient and create costly repairs. Make a smart play this fall and book a no-cost replacement consult with Endless Energy. Learn from the pros on all rebates, tax incentives, and 0% financing options available. Call 775-ENDLESS or go to goendlessenergy.com.
Whether I'm heading to a game, the airport, or out with friends, to get where I need to be in comfort and style, I rely on the pros at A+ Coach. Anthony and his team at A+ Coach offer world-class personal transportation services with the best fleet of luxury vehicles anywhere in Massachusetts, all at an affordable price. Next time you're heading to a game, heading to Logan like I do, or heading to Boston for a night out, leave the driving to A+ Coach. For reservations and more, visit apluscoach.com or call 781-THE-LIMO. That's apluscoach.com or 781-THE-LIMO. And to get the best rate, tell them so sent you.
For over 80 years, JB Sash & Door has been New England's leading window and door dealer.
And for over 20 years, we've been proud to offer Marvin Windows and Doors.
Marvin provides a perfect solution for any budget or design.
And JB Sash offers design services, custom finishes, and millwork options for all Marvin products.
Don't settle for windows and doors from a lumberyard or big box store.
Our expertise makes us New England's leading Marvin dealer, and no one knows Marvin better than JB Sash.
Visit us at jbsash.com.
We are JB Sash & Door,
the home of the window boys.
Get into Dave & Buster's all football season to watch the games on their 43-foot TV. Enjoy all-you-can-eat wings Mondays and Thursdays, plus take advantage of their 5-5-5 deal. 5 free games, $5 bites, and $5 domestic drafts. Braintree, Natick, Woburn, Providence, and Manchester, New Hampshire. Reserve at daveandbusters.com.
Connect with Buston's home for sports online. 98.5 thesportshub.com.
Trust in what you do. Everybody be on the same page. Nobody can do it by themselves. We need all 11 on offense, defense, special teams, and everybody do that. I think we'll be good.
Mr. Bongacha talking about staying on your keys here today. And your starting lineups brought to you by your local John Deere dealer, United Construction and Forestry. Don't forget, get any job done with United Construction and Forestry, because together we're unstoppable. Together we're united. Visit a location nearest you or learn more at unitedequip.com. For the Patriots on offense, and wide receiver Kendrick Bourne, good to have him back with Jalen Polk and Demario Douglas. With tackles, Kadarian Lowe and DeMontre Jacobs. Guards are Michael Jordan
Finally, there's a better choice to keep your business connected. With T-Mobile for Business, our internet and voice bundle saves you more than 30% versus big cable. Setup only takes minutes. And seamless collaboration across your people and devices is as easy as it gets. Add mobile for even greater value and get the most out of America's largest 5G network. Switch to the Better Choice bundle and save.
Your drive. Go to TireRack.com/sports. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey guys, Jason Smith and Mike Harmon are dropping knowledge like this.
The aftermath of the Alonso home run going into the second round of the playoffs. And there was a big push. I saw it all over with social media. John Boy, who's a big baseball blogger and poster, puts out that he thought that Devin Williams of the Brewers was tipping pitches. Yeah. And Alonso knew that the changeup was coming and he was able to sit on it and hit a home run. And I got to say, I'm glad that this has not gone anywhere because I got to be honest. Watching this, I watched all 7 minutes of this breakdown that he holds the glove a little bit closer, just a tiny bit closer to his body, and the glove is a tiny bit flatter when he throws his fastball versus his changeup. You know what? Yeah, it sounds great and it looks great. It was presented great because here's this zoomed in feature from the center field camera. And yeah, does it look like for 2 or 3 inches his glove is moved a little bit? Yeah, maybe not even 3, maybe 2 inches. And it looks great. But in theory, okay, I don't think from 60 feet, 6 inches away, you're able to tell when a guy's got a glove and he's moved a little bit of it 2 inches. He's moved a portion of the glove. I don't think you can see that. I really don't. I think, honestly, as lights out as Devin Williams is, right? Because honestly, he's almost like the next Rivera, right? Because Mariano Rivera got by for most of his career on 2 pitches, and in the end he got by on 1 pitch, right? That cut fastball. But he has 2 pitches. He has a fastball, he has a changeup. The entire inning, each Mets batter was sitting on a different pitch. And
to get the rest of what Jason Smith and Mike Harmon said, podcast it by searching The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon. And as always, you can hear The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio. This is The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon.
Anybody who's gone to school knows that Edgar Allan Poe wrote The Ravens, and I'm pretty sure every single person who saw that, Devontae Adams posted a picture of Edgar Allan Poe, and thinks it's a reference to The Ravens. Everybody knows that. So you didn't really do a lot of work. It's something that you realize within the first 3 seconds of seeing, Devontae Adams has a picture of Edgar Allan Poe. He must be going to the Ravens. Look at the work I've done here. I've done TV detective work. We don't know who the killer is in the open, and then we play the smash cut to titles, and the next 44 minutes of television, I figure out who did it. I am a great internet detective. I figured out in 3 seconds. My work here today is done because I figured out it's about the Ravens and Edgar Allan Poe and Devontae Adams. Look at me how smart I am.
You're listening to Jason Smith with Mike Harmon. Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. This is The Herd.
Wow, 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 wow.
With Colin Cowherd.
Mets Brewers. I said yesterday on the show, I was kind of pulling for the Mets. Because the Mets and the Phillies, along with the Dodgers and the Padres, it just feels big. Now, Milwaukee's stacked. Milwaukee's young. Milwaukee's great. And that leaves a mark, that loss. But, so here you go with Pete Alonso. And Pete Alonso is the classic power hitter. Great at the home run derby, big bombs, lots of strikeouts. Top of the 9th, trailing 2-0. Season about the end. Here it is. It's at the end. And what do you know? The big bummer, Pete Alonso, steps up. A bum into a hero in about 6 seconds. and that's what New York does.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Wow.
Weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Fox Sports Radio.
Here we go.
So how do you like it?
The question is this.
You like it like this?
Wait a minute. This is the NBA.
Or like this?
Baseball tends to be, of all our sports, very much steeped in tradition.
And what about this?
Basically, the NFL has found ways to make money off of everything. Like it a lot.
Whatever it is that you like, we've got it covered. It's sports the way you like it on Fox Sports Radio. It's Fox Football Sunday. And we're marching you right down the field on Red Zone Radio.
To the 5, touchdown!
Back to Steve Hartman.
The snap and a play fake to Swift from the pocket. Caleb throwing open. DJ Moore inside the 15 to the 10. Turns it up to the 5. Walking into the end zone. Touchdown Bears! Caleb Williams, 34 yards to DJ Moore for the score.
That is the Bears Radio Network. And the Bears, by the way, have just scored again to take a 14-7 lead over the Carolina Panthers on a Johnson rush of a yard. So 14-7 Bears right now, just the start of the second quarter there. Once again, this is Red Zone Radio. Steve Hartman and Rich Ornberger with you. We are live from the TireRack.com studios. All right, so let's do a quick update on the 6 games going on right now. As we mentioned, Bears lead the Panthers 14-7. These are all second quarter scores. Bengals and Ravens are tied at 7. Dolphins and the Patriots. Patriots lead this game 7-3. Commanders 7. Browns nothing. Colts on the road leading the winless Jaguars 7-3. And the Houston Texans up 14-3 on the Bills. Bills trying to drive right now. C.J. Stroud 5 for 5. 109 yards and a score early on in this game as the Texans look to go to 4-1 on the season. And, a couple of weeks ago we were talking about the Bills, Rich, as like, okay, right now, 3 weeks in, the Bills look like the best team. Then they get blasted last week by the Ravens and now down early against the Texans.
Yeah, it is not going smoothly for Josh Allen and the Bills. I would say up until this start today, I wouldn't hit any panic buttons. But it is a little bit of feast and famine with Josh Allen.
He's 1 for 8 in this game.
Yeah, he was very steady for years when he had his offensive coordinator with him that he started his career. And then as soon as, why am I blanking on his name? The New York Giants head coach.
Dable,
thank you. As soon as Dable moved on and took the head coaching job, now he's had 2 offensive coordinators since. They've moved on to Brady since then. But Dorsey before him, it doesn't seem as cohesive as it did when it was Dable.
1 for 9. That's what he is right now. Right now, C.J. Stroud has a perfect passer rating of 158.3. Josh Allen is 1 for 9 passing in this game.
Yeah, again, like I said, certain games it looks like he's unstoppable. I've described him in the past, and it's my favorite way to describe him as a moose in shoulder pads because he plays in cold weather. And I don't know if anybody's ever encountered a moose. You don't ever want to be in their path. Like, how does he get the helmet over the antlers? We don't know. But he can do whatever he wants with the football at times, and then other times he shrinks. And right now, at least in the first quarter, through the progress of this game, he's really struggled against this Houston Texans defense.
All right, speaking of shrinking, Deshaun Watson, Browns are losing 7-0 on the road to the Commanders. He's 4 for 11 for 33 yards.
Yeah.
4 for 11 for 33 yards. At what point, if the Browns lose this game, they would be 1-4 on the season. What do you do with Deshaun Watson? You pull the plug on the guy that's got guaranteed money, over $200 million guaranteed money. How do you handle this if you're the Browns?
Some decisions are sports decisions, and then certain decisions are business decisions. And it depends on the type of owner you have, how many sports decisions get made. And so if you have an owner like Jerry Jones who likes to meddle, there's going to be an even mix because obviously he's an expert marketer, even though the Dallas Cowboys have had varied levels of success, ultimately not getting to championship games and winning Super Bowls in a very long time, since the 90s. They've still sustained this America's team vibe that continues on, but he's an owner who will make business decisions and sports decisions. When Robert Kraft had Bill Belichick, It seemed like they only made sports decisions. In Cleveland, they have an owner who it feels like right now they're only interested in making a business decision. They've invested this much money into this quarterback, and so they're going to see this through. As soon as they hand this over to Kevin Stefanski and they say, hey, we want you to put the most competitive players on the field, trust me, Deshaun Watson will no longer be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
Well, you go to Jameis Winston?
Absolutely. I trust Jameis Winston right now more than I trust Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is playing like one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL.
He is not generating any offense. However, the Browns just got a field goal. Hopkins from 51 yards out, cutting the Commanders' lead to 7-3. We mentioned Jaden Daniels came into this game with a record 82% completion percentage in the first 4 games of the season. Today, 5 of 10. And this, again, is a really good Cleveland defense. They're going to put pressure on him. He's been sacked already 1 time in this game. So he's getting a little more pressure. He avoided 1 rush for a big pass to McLaurin early in the game, 66-yard pass play. But outside of that, it's dink and dunk for this Commanders offense early on. So 7-3, Commanders have the lead against the Cleveland Browns.
From a standpoint of quarterbacks, how you rank them, how you rate them, what would you say is the most important stat when it comes to quarterbacks?
Well, I think completion percentage.
Right, completion percentage, pass
rating, and yards
per
per attempt. I mean, if you went into this week, you would see Sam Darnold right there in all those different categories. So yards per attempt and completion percentage.
So right now, from a passer rating standpoint, Jaden Daniels with the Washington Commanders is 4th overall in the league. 28th is where Deshaun Watson sits.
Yes.
He is 4th to last in the NFL amongst starting quarterbacks.
All right, we continue on as we are into second quarters around the NFL. This is Red Zone Radio.
We are Fox Sports.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just 1 subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, VH1, TLC, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. And with up to 3 streams at once, you'll never have to fight about what to watch. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows, and save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR, so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere, for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC Plus. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's philo.tv.
To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details.
Go, check them out.
FS1.
Check them out.
FS1.
They have a lot of fun things that go on in the morning.
This is the show that has 2 pros and a cup of Joe.
Who is Joe?
LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and Jonas Knox.
So Kirk Cousins was on Amazon Prime's postgame show, and he talked about how that play came to be, and it actually was, as you mentioned, Brady, the OC Zach Robinson, who switched it up last second.
You were living dangerously.
Yeah, you were. You like to live dangerous.
The call came in. It was a ball's got to go to the sideline. Every route was to the sideline, and then he changed his mind. He said, "You know what, Kirk? Rip this slant and let's clock it and see if we can do it."
What's the cutoff point? Because you've talked about this before. There's a cutoff point to where you have enough time to get down and clock it. Because that felt like that was right on the board.
It was like 7 seconds, right? I mean, it was like 7 seconds when they got done with the play. I
think there was 12.
Was it 12?
Yeah. So 12. So when I was in Seattle, we did a deep dive of the summertime into this. The bare minimum was 12, and that was like you are really playing with fire. And if you get this play off, and by the way, that was including like it had to be a slant. That is the bare minimum. If it's anything less than that, I would say you've got to throw the ball out of bounds. Like it's got to go to the sidelines or out of bounds.
Right.
And then you can kick. But in this case, with 12 seconds, you're saying, okay, if we really feel like we have to get more yardage and we need to throw the ball on the field, we can try this, but it's extremely risky. We used to always say 16 was safe. Like, you knew you could throw a ball inbounds, go clock with 16 seconds. But like 12, that's it.
To get the rest of LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and Jonas Knox, podcast by searching Two Pros and a Cup of Joe. Listen to Two Pros and a Cup of Joe weekdays from 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
Right now,
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
You know what's weird? I'm watching the game and I'm thinking Kirk Cousins has had to prove himself for probably 15 years, 16 years. If I go back to college, it feels like every game, every year, we go, I don't know. When he was at Michigan State, and he put up really good numbers, but he was overshadowed in the Big Ten. And then he gets drafted in the 4th round by Washington, and they take RG3. And then all of a sudden he gets his opportunity, gets franchise tagged a couple of times. Then he gets the first guaranteed contract, everything guaranteed. Like, he's always proving himself. It's weird that I think he's going to end his career, and we're still not going to be too sure how to define his career. But I call him, he's Mr. Primetime now.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes, and you.
Weekdays, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Want the best?
We're waiting.
A straight shooter.
That's the kind of guy that I am.
2 words. Doug Gottlieb.
Yo, let me grab this mic right here one time.
Better yet, Coach Gottlieb.
Now you got it.
Admit it. Your afternoons just got better.
Dude, you get everybody in, you look them in the eye and go, let's go. You know who I am. Like, do you understand the value in that?
It's the Doug Gottlieb Show. Weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. Right here on Fox Sports Radio. FS1.
Call your friends and ask how they doing.
To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details.
Boom. Trust your eyes.
FS1. And here's what you need to know.
C.J. Stroud and the Texans out there making it look easy.
First down Texans to begin this possession at the Houston 33. Stroud fakes the toss. He has time in the pocket. He's going to gun it long. And Nico Collins is there at the 15, 10, 5. Rock and roll. Touchdown, H-Town. A bomb from Stroud to Collins.
You heard it all on the Texans radio network. They're beating the Bills 14-3 halfway through the second quarter, but Nico Collins is questionable to return with a hamstring injury. The Jaguars, who are 0-4, are beating the Colts 10-7 late in the second quarter. The Commanders are on top of the Browns 7-3 early in the second quarter. The Patriots are beating the Dolphins at home 7-3 halfway through the second. Devon Achane of Miami has a concussion and is out for the rest of the game. The Ravens have just retaken the lead. Lamar Jackson finding Rashad Bateman for a touchdown. They're beating the Bengals 14-7 halfway through the second. Bears on top of the Panthers 14-7. 5 minutes to go in the first half.
This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. The play.
How about that second effort to get in the end zone?
The hit. Your team, your game.
We got the pass on that.
It's all broken down right here. Fox Sports Red Zone Radio is now live from the TireRack.com studios of Fox Sports Radio. Here's Steve Hartman and 6-year NFL veteran Rich Ornberger.
Rolling along here on another busy NFL Sunday. This is Red Zone Radio. We're broadcasting live from the TireRack.com studios. TireRack.com, we're going to help get you there. An unmatched selection, fast free shipping, free road hazard protection, over 10,000 recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. It feels like a half slate today.
It does.
Sometimes we get as many as 10 games kicking up at once. Right now we're at 6. We are approaching halftime in several of these games. A couple updates. The Colts right now, 2-minute warning in Jacksonville. The Colts scored first, but Jacksonville came back. By the way, in this game, Trevor Lawrence is 11 for 12, 189 yards and a score. So he has been red hot in a must-win for the Jaguars. Only one team, if you're curious, only one team has ever started the season 0-4 and made the playoffs, and I covered that team. That would be the 1992 San Diego Chargers. They had a new coach in Bobby Ross. They started 0-4, won 11 of their last 12 games, won their division, won a playoff game. But that is still the only team to start 0-4 and make it into the postseason.
That's why I always say, do not judge a team or a player early, judge them late. Okay, so it's very easy to write off a rookie quarterback his first season because you look at him, you say, you know what? He just doesn't work at the NFL level. Okay, yeah, you could do that, or you could let it bake. You could give it a couple of weeks. You could give it a couple years, and you could see some of the results start to reveal themselves. Look at Baker Mayfield, first overall pick to the Browns. Got them to a playoff game, got them a playoff win while he was there, but it was a disaster on that coaching staff. He made a stop in Carolina before going to the Rams, before the Tampa Bay Buccaneers signed him. Do you think they're happy with the signing? He's been one of the best quarterbacks through these last 2 seasons now. You look at a player like Sammy Darnold. He gets taken in the first round to the Jets. That organization has been a disaster basically my entire life. Okay, I'm 38. I don't think the Jets have figured it out in my lifetime. So the Jets really ruined his opportunities to get his career started, and he's bounced around the league, and he's finally ended up in a cohesive, consistent culture with the Minnesota Vikings. He's off to a 5-0 start. So, again, don't judge teams or players early. You got to let things bake and set in and congeal and form, and that's exactly what could happen for Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Listen, the light at the end of the tunnel can also be a train coming. So I'm not saying it's all sunshine and rainbows. It could go really badly for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but it's still early.
All right, the Colts right now with a 3rd and 10 at the Jacksonville 12-yard line inside 2 minutes to go. Joe Flacco in for the injured Anthony Richardson. And, this is a huge game for both these teams. Obviously, the Jags have to win for a game at some point, you would think, this year. But the Colts in 2-2, you win today on the road, get to 3-2, you're very much in the mix. And Joe Flacco is outperforming Anthony Richardson when he's in there. I mean, Flacco today is 15-17 passing.
Joe Flacco is outperforming a lot of starting quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Joe Flacco is a talented passer. He's a good decision maker. Now, he'll make some boneheaded decisions in games. He'll try to do too much sometimes because, look, he's always had a powerful arm. He trusts his arm a little too much. This was a problem with him in Baltimore. It has followed him as he's making this second act to his career as a reserve quarterback who's gotten starts in consecutive seasons now. Last year with the Browns, this year with the Colts. But outside of that, outside of those few plays where he makes bad decisions, overall, he's a consistent, really smart, high IQ football player. Wow, we just saw an enormous hit, and we have a Carolina Panther who's out on his feet. They're going to stop this game for a little while. The Bears just knocked the football loose and absolutely leveled whoever that was. That a tight end? Look at this hit.
I think that's Tommy Tremble, right?
Yeah, that was a helmet to helmet. He actually lowered his helmet, the receiver, and it looked like he knocked himself out.
Dude,
he just went limp. Now hopefully he's okay.
Ragdolled on
but he
this
put
play.
his helmet down, and it became helmet to helmet. He was knocked out because the ball just came loose, and he ended up on his back on top of the Bears player that he went helmet to helmet with. So we'll give you an update on that. Meanwhile, the Bills and the Texans, it has been all Texans, 14-3, tale of two quarterbacks. C.J. Stroud, 10 for 10 for 177 yards. Josh Allen, 2 for 10 for 34 yards. So it's been all Houston Texans in this game, leading by a score of 14-3. However, the Bills do have the ball inside 6 minutes to go in the first half.
Yeah, and
now
inside the Texans' 30-yard line, and we have a runaway for the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen just completed a pass inside the 20-yard line.
No.
To the Houston Texans 15.
No, they just crossed midfield. Didn't they?
Oh yeah, you're
did.
absolutely right.
Yeah, they just crossed midfield.
I thought they were all the way down into the red zone. Yeah.
You're getting ahead of yourself.
Yeah, I'm way ahead
of
myself.
Where are you?
I'm like, oh my gosh, look at this. They're about to go in and score.
Yeah, they just crossed midfield.
Very good.
So the Bills trying to get back in this game inside 5 minutes to go in the first half, with Houston leading the score by
the way,
14-3.
Hollins, who does not wear shoes. So their receiver Hollins, when he's out of his cleats, he goes barefoot everywhere. He refuses to wear shoes. I mean, I'm worried about hookworm. I'm worried about a lot of things for Max.
I mean, would you be walking those fields barefoot?
No, dude, no, especially not the turf. So I mean, like, the turf fields, especially the indoor turf fields, they don't drain.
No.
There's no rainwater. So, I mean, whatever gets, spit out or upchucked on those fields, guess what? It just stays there. Occasionally you may have a trainer walk by and squirt water on something, but that's about it. I mean, this guy, look, I have serious concerns about
Is there an aroma to those fields?
You know what?
Because, grass is grass. When you're on a grass field, what do you smell? You smell grass,
Listen,
right?
I'm glad you
But on
mentioned
these
that.
artificial turfs.
So there was a corner of one of the fields at Penn State where when you had to go, you had to go. And it was a long run back to the locker room.
Right.
And so, whatever. Well, in the heat of the summer, let's just put it this way. I mean,
it's a little sticky, the weather.
I'm just saying the humidity, all of a sudden, there's something's wafting from that southwest corner. Yeah, it's not good. It's not great. So.
Colts get a field goal, so they tie the game with the Jags. 10-10 now. Again, 1:44 to go in the first half of that game. Panthers and the Bears. Bears were down early, but since then, the Bears defense, we talked about the turnover they just forced. Bears have a 14-7 lead. They have a first down at the Carolina 43-yard line, and Caleb Williams is playing pretty well in this game. He's 7 of 10 passing, 98 yards. He has a score, no interceptions. So you can see some progress week to week with Caleb Williams. Meanwhile, on the other side, Andy Dalton, it looks great, right? 7 of 8 passing, 15 yards.
Yeah.
Now, wait a second.
Yeah.
I'm like, the 7 completions for 15 yards?
That's hard to do.
That's 2 yards a catch.
That's like Bo Nix, Aaron Rodgers. Do we have a safety? In what game? Where did this just happen?
That was in the Cincinnati.
Oh, they just wrapped up Lamar. Who did
Lamar Jackson. No,
it was Derrick Henry.
Gets tackled in the end
Was
zone.
that Hubbard? He just got his pins knocked out in the end zone, and the Cincinnati Bengals score 2 points, and they get the ball back.
So Derrick Henry, that's not easy to bring down the big guy in the end zone, but that's exactly what happened. So the Bengals now 14-9, they're down to the Ravens inside 6 minutes to go. And, of course, the Ravens now will have the free kick back to the Bengals. Speaking of the Bengals, a team that, I picked to win the division, which was obviously kiss of death for them. And I also thought Joe Burrow was going to be MVP. Joe Burrow has not played bad. I mean, his passer rating is over 100 this year. He's played fine. Their defense has been atrocious.
Yeah, they can't stop anybody. It's been a huge problem, and they haven't really been able to stop Baltimore so far today. Outside of that amazing play that they just were able to wrap up Derrick Henry, bring him to the turf in his own end zone. So the field position game working out for Cincinnati Bengals here, as Joe Burrow before the half is going to be able to take over with half a field to go after the ensuing safety punt.
All right, Joe Burrow right now 7 of 10, 65 yards and a touchdown. Lamar Jackson 8 of 14, 109 yards and a score. He also has 3 rushes for 12 yards. Derrick Henry has a touchdown, but just 9 carries for 26 yards. That's less than 3 yards a carry. So far the Bengals have done a good job. Meanwhile, a stretch to the goal line, touchdown Bears. DeAndre Swift gets into the end zone as they increase their lead to 20-7, pending the extra point at home against the Panthers.
He's off to a good start with the Bears. The run game is really, it's circled around him. They go as he goes, and when he has a good game and he's piling up yardage and he's getting them scores on the ground, the Bears have had success because, look, what helps a young quarterback out? It's a strong run game and also good passing targets out of the backfield and with your tight ends. And DeAndre Swift can do a lot of that too.
By the way, the Bears already in this game, first half, 216 total yards. This is one of the best Bears offenses we've seen all year. And DeAndre Swift is having a half, 14 carries, 66 yards, and that score. So the Bears are off and running. And wait a second, they took the touchdown off the board.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to say his knee was down somewhere around the 3-yard line, and he stretched the ball out just about to the 1-yard line. So it'll be 2nd and goal from the Carolina Panthers 1-yard line, and I believe they handed it to Swift again, and he plunges in for the score.
As I said, DeAndre Swift scored. Nothing changes here. All right, DeAndre Swift scored, and the Bears are up 27, waiting for the extra point. All right, so we're heading to halftime in 6 games around the NFL. We'll continue to update you, scores, stats, everything you need. This is Red Zone Radio.
Did you miss this?
It's game day now. Lamar the shotgun. Bengals brand blitz pressure. Lamar running to the right. Fires complete. Bateman has it in the 10. Touchdown. Trevor drops. Fires deep downfield. Got a man. That's Brian Thomas Jr. in the Colts territory. Big boy touchdown.
It's your NFL Sunday. We're Fox Sports Radio.
With all the uncertainty in the economy, the pre-election wobbles, is my money really safe? That's when I discovered the power of a gold IRA from Noble Gold Investments. It's a tangible asset that can help protect your wealth when times get tough. And with Noble Gold Investments, it was so easy to roll over my existing IRA into a self-directed gold IRA. Their experts guided me through every step. I've diversified my retirement portfolio with something real. Don't wait for the election uncertainty to threaten your financial security. Vote for the timeless safety of gold and silver in 2024. Oh, and hear this. They're giving away up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account. Just visit noblegoldinvestments.com now and use the promo code TRUMP. That's noblegoldinvestments.com.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
This message is for anyone looking for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance, even if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or taking anxiety meds. Here's an example. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe overweight with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost about $200 a month. We're Term Provider, experts in finding affordable term life insurance for those that may not be in perfect health. If you've had prostate cancer, heart conditions, high cholesterol, or on prescription medications, you may still qualify for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance. Get a quick quote by calling Term Provider at 800-529-2856. 800-529-2856. If you're looking for term life insurance but have type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, or have other health issues, call Term Provider at 800-529-2856 or visit termprovider.com. Termprovider.com.
It's time to upgrade your audio game. And just like Colin Coward did, you need to discover JLab. JLab imagines and delivers personal tech, headphones, earbuds, and office accessories that consumers want straight from their lab. Whether you're working out, jamming out, or just tuning out, JLab headphones amplify it all. There's a perfect pair for every you. It's like wearing shoes. You need a different pair of headphones for different activities. Try the J-Buds Luxe over-ear headphones for noise-canceling travel. The last thing you want to deal with on a long flight is a crying baby. Or the J-Buds Sport ANC4, offering a secure fit and super long battery life. Perfect for those long walks and workouts. Or the Flex Open, a clip-on earbud for errands and around the office. Discover your perfect pair of headphones with JLab. Look for the JLab Blue Box at Walmart, Target, Best Buy, and more. Or visit JLab.com to upgrade your sound and style today. That's JLab.com.
On the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon.
I'm just going to say it because it's going to seem weird.
You'll get this.
I'm not saying the guy's overrated.
And some of this.
Oh, like death, pettiness knows no tax bracket.
Oh, hey now. And on occasion,
4, 2, 1.
What's our disaster scenario early on in the season?
That.
Yeah, baby. Let's go.
It's the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon. Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. On Fox Sports Radio. And now, there are some shows you don't want to miss.
Anyway, it's a big story.
And there are some shows you can't miss.
Yes!
This is Covino and Rich.
There was a point in time, not too long ago, where you were going to quit the Mets. But you stuck it out.
I stuck it out.
I can't quit you. I know. So congratulations to you and all the New York Mets fans. And, of course, Pete Alonso, Polar Bear Pete, and the New York Mets.
Yeah, it was, honestly, I said this to you, and I wasn't BSing you. I don't think I've ever reacted to a sports play, home run, catch, shot, anything like that in my life. In my life. Dude, I was in kindergarten when the Mets won the World Series. So I was just a little kid like, yeah, Gary Carter. You got to say kindergarten. Makes it seem like it's further long time ago.
Mookie Wilson, Doc Gooden.
Like, I was
Rich
my
was just a
daughter's
little
age.
boy in
kindergarten. I was in kindergarten. So this to me, not to be a prisoner of the moment, first time ever,
someone hits a go-ahead home run in the 9th inning of a playoff game.
That's right.
In Major League Baseball history.
Pete Alonso, according to where we used to work, SNY, and it's just one of the best stats, is the first player in MLB history with a go-ahead home run while trailing in the 9th or later of a winner-take-all postseason game. And we saw it happen. I didn't think it was going to happen. No. That's also what makes it that exciting. And let me keep this in mind for everybody. I'm not a Mets fan. From New York, New Jersey, from the East Coast, I'm a Yankees guy. I'm sitting there watching, and I'm like, man, it's done.
Hey, this is Cheech, and this is Chong, and you're listening to Covino and Rich, so listen up.
To get the rest of what Covino and Rich said, podcast it by searching Covino and Rich. And as always, you can hear Covino and Rich weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Y'all realize The Odd Couple is loved.
I love you.
I mean, just listen to these people.
Hey, your show sounds great. I want to welcome Calvin. Welcome, Calvin. You're bringing in some youthful energy to The Odd Couple.
They can't get enough of The Odd Couple.
You know, the new iteration of The Odd Couple is great to see.
Rob Parker, Kelvin Washington, a show that no one can miss. Check it.
Hold up.
It's The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington. You can hear them right here. Weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
Scrolling mindlessly.
We know all about your social media habits. So, scroll past the cute dog videos. Scroll past the DIY, you know, the ones that you have no business watching. And the thirst traps.
Wait a minute.
Fine, you can look at those, but start putting that algorithm to use.
Now it's social media.
Follow us at Fox Sports Radio.
The big story of the day.
Interact with us at Fox Sports Radio.
I want people to pull up a chair.
Find out at Fox Sports Radio.
Let's finish. Oh!
You're listening to Red Zone Radio.
Back to the end zone.
We're taking you across the NFL.
To the end zone. Touchdown.
And into the red zone. Once again, here's Steve Hartman and Rich Ornberger.
Trevor drops and looks. Fires deep downfield. Got a man. That's Brian Thomas Jr. 50 in the Colts territory. 35, 30, 25, 10, 5. Touchdown. Brian Thomas Jr. just went 85 yards. How good is that?
That's the Jaguars Radio Network, and it's halftime in Jacksonville. The Jaguars lead the Colts by a score of 13-10, 15 of 18 passing, 225 yards on the score for the suddenly hot Trevor Lawrence. Once again, this is Red Zone Radio. Steve Hartman and Rich Ornberger with you. We are live from the TireRack.com studio. So Jacksonville looking for their first win of the season. And Trevor Lawrence, as I mentioned, has been near flawless in this game. 15 of 18, 225 yards and a score. On the other side, Joe Flacco, 17 of 21, only 132 yards, a score, and no picks. Jacksonville, one of the things for Jacksonville that's been missing offensively is Etienne. Travis Etienne today, 4 carries, 12 yards. And it's tough in this league if you can't run the football. And so Jacksonville's running game is down. But let me ask you this. If Jacksonville does not survive today, I mean, how short is the leash here on Doug Peterson in terms of being the coach of the team? I mean, we go back to his Philadelphia Eagle days. The guy wins the Super Bowl. He outcoaches Bill Belichick in a Super Bowl. Outcoached him that day. A couple of years later, he's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, certain guys flame out. They rise quick. They make things happen, and then whatever magic they had disappears. Do you think Peterson is safe in Jacksonville, regardless of how the season goes, or could he be the first casualty of this 2024 season?
Not only is he not safe, but he's most likely going to be fired if this continues. I mean, look, this is a results-driven league. I don't love it. I don't love the fact that anybody can lose their job. But at the end of the day, Shad Khan has an organization to run, and if he doesn't feel like he has the right guy at the front of the class, then he's got to make one of those hard decisions, and Doug Peterson could lose another job, unfortunately.
Coming up later on Fox, the Raiders on the road against the Broncos. Laura Ockman's going to be there. Laura, thanks for joining us once again. How are you today? Hello, Laura. Do we have Laura? Is she there? She was there. All right, so there we go. I had the nice build-up for her right there.
Well, listen, we will catch up with Laura in just a moment. But yeah, look, I mean, in terms of the Jacksonville Jaguars, the big problem here is if they lose this game, that means they've lost back-to-back in-division games, and that's going to smart because this really paints you into a corner if you're the owner. You know, all of a sudden you're looking up at the scoreboard and saying to yourself, geez, we can't even be competitive in our own division, and so that's where it gets dicey.
All right, let's try this once again. I believe we do have Laura ready to go. Laura, how you doing today?
Hello, good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon. I don't know what time zone. I'm on Mountain and I get all mixed up. Good morning, good afternoon, happy Sunday.
Well, happy Sunday to you, Laura. Of course, we're talking about this game coming up between the Raiders and the Broncos. All right, we know that Davante Adams is not playing in this game today. Laura, what are you hearing about his future with the Raiders? Is he going to be reunited with Aaron Rodgers with the Jets? What's going to go on as far as the future of Davante Adams?
Well, I mean, I'm hoping Jay Glazer is after me, so he can tell you a little bit more. I can just tell you from the Raiders side this week, they love Davante, and so I think this threw everybody. I think we've talked more about sometimes you'll have a player who's disgruntled, and guys are kind of like, all right, like let's get this chapter done. But he's loved in this building, and so I think they were thrown by it, but. What I've talked to more guys about is there's been a lot of drama, period, and talking about them trying to make sure that doesn't spill out into Sunday, which it didn't last week, and they were really proud of that, with a lot going on, with Antonio Pierce calling them out, and then, kind of walking that back. And with everything happening with Davante, I think right now they're focused more, as cliche as this is, of how do we get our acts together and, and how do we turn into 9 straight wins over this division rival.
So it didn't work out a year ago with the Denver Broncos and Russell Wilson. He spent 2 years with the team, 1 year with Sean Payton. He moves on in trade to the Steelers, and the Denver Broncos are paying Russell Wilson not to play for them. Yeah. Now you have Bo Nix. He enters the situation as a first-round draft choice by the Denver Broncos. It felt like Sean Payton helped hand select him as his quarterback. What's the feeling around the building on Nix? How is Sean Payton feeling about his progression as their passer now?
You talk to Sean about Bo Nix, and it's an hour and a half of him just going on. And I wrote down because he said the first thing he said to us when we were talking to him, our production team was, I really, 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 and he said 5 reallys, because I was like, all right, after 3, I'm counting. How many reallys are there? I really, 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 really like him. And so what we talked about was him what Sean's trying to do is go, I'm not trying to give a progression. A lot of times with the rookie quarterbacks, which we've seen so many this year already, the head coaches are like, here's the progression that we want to see out of them. And Sean's like, we have really organic benchmarks. And what we need to do is really make sure that we're showing up around him. And he said, everyone keeps saying that we need a receiver, which, that was a lot of talk. Why not Davante here? But he's like, our biggest weapon, every time someone says we need a weapon for him, is our defense. And the defense is balling right now. But so what Sean is saying is no more drop passes. We got to be better offensive line-wise blocking. And also what he said is he kind of has been holding him back. He's like, he's a really smart kid, not 5 reallys, but, really, really smart kid, and said that he loves some RPOs and he loves some things that Sean hasn't been giving him. So this is a game, he said, he didn't say, let's take the training wheels off, but he said we're swimming in waters in depths we haven't gone to yet, and that's on Sean. So I say that to say Sean really likes him, really sees a lot in him. The players love him. They talk so much about his poise, and the first time meeting him, I understood why. He's got, just a really nice presence about him that this moment isn't too big for him. He's gone through a lot with how things went at Auburn. He's the son of a coach's kid, so he kind of speaks the lingo, and the older players love him. But, I just, at the end of the day, what are we going to see him progress, even though Sean won't say that? We just haven't seen that much out of him yet.
Laura, I want to ask you about Antonio Pierce. I saw an interesting stat. Since he took over last year as the head coach of the Raiders have been the least penalized team in the NFL. And that's not Raider football, in my mind. I worked for the Raider organization many, many years ago in the L.A. market. And, I'm thinking, all right, okay, so what impact? We kept hearing, the players last year really trumpeting, we want to keep Antonio Pierce as our coach. But is he too tied to the player? I'm just trying to still figure out this whole dynamic between Antonio Pierce and his team. What is that relationship like?
I love that you asked that, and I love that, obviously the building. I talked a lot about that with Antonio, with Marvin Lewis, who Marvin's on his staff, and that was very intentional. Marvin was retired, and Antonio wanted him here, one of his mentors, to help him in this transition. And so what happened was the players loved that fiery stuff last year, and they wrote that. We were here for his first game, and the building was on fire, the team was on fire. They wanted that energy. And that's great as an interim. But now you're the head coach, and Antonio's kind of trying to figure that out. So when he called out guys 2 weeks ago and said some guys made a business decision, that just kind of got people a little bit rattled. Now Antonio walked that back, but every player I talked to was cool with it. That they were like that's one of the things we do like about him. Now Marvin just gave me the greatest conversation about Antonio, and he said he leads like he plays. And I brought that up to Antonio, who was like, Marvin hasn't told me that before. Let me think about that. And he said, it makes sense. He goes, all the things that made me a good player that lasted long. The intensity, the way that he would call the players out, he said the media, New York media, was very demanding. It made me be very tough and very vocal. And he said, that's all the stuff that made me successful. So I brought that all here, but I've got to be careful as the head coach that I can't take all of that now. So I think you're not alone kind of going, what's the dynamic with him as the head coach? Because I think Antonio's trying to figure that out now. And what's it been, 13, 14 games? It hasn't been that many. But we see former players when they make this transition, have to figure out what made me so successful as a player. Check, want that. But also being careful. Some of those things now doesn't work when you're the head chair.
Well, he's pulled all the right levers for this locker room. The players really have responded to him. He's pulled all the right levers against Denver in his short time with the Raiders, because I wasn't aware of this prior to this game, but Denver has now lost to the Raiders 8 consecutive times. I mean, this is why. So is there a little bit more on this one for Sean Payton and the Broncos hosting the Raiders today?
I tried. I went there. And how I phrased it was, Sean doesn't hide from that stuff. You remember in New Orleans, he did some burials, some ceremonial burials with, bringing some jazz musicians. So Sean is, you can talk to him about our certain streaks or things getting into players' heads. And so he'll take that bite. But what he said was, he goes, at the end of the day, what I would tell you is, whenever you look at streaks and trends, what it comes down to is the one football team was good and one football team is bad. And he said they had a bad football team, including last year when Sean was here and they lost twice. And he said, so what I would tell you, what will even that out, is when we are playing good football. And so that's as far as he would go into. But I always wonder that, too. I mean, when it's crazy streaks like that, the players are all very aware of that. So all of a sudden, if they lose a lead, if all of a sudden the field kind of tilts, the last couple of minutes, does that stuff get in your head? But what I would say is most of these Broncos haven't even been here, for that many games. So a lot for last year. But so Sean is downplaying it. And again, with this young roster, I think they're the third youngest in the NFL. I don't think that's anything to do with anything except us talking about, isn't that a crazy streak that nobody expected to hear?
Big battle, long-time rivalry. Raiders on the road against the Broncos. Laura, we appreciate the time. Enjoy the game today.
I haven't talked to you guys all season. I'm happy to hear your voices. Have a great season and hope to talk to you soon.
Thanks so much, Laura.
And by the way,
right there. Yes.
We really, 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 really like her.
Yes.
Yeah, we really do.
Yeah, we really, really, really like her. All right, we got a lot of things happening right now around the National Football League, so let's find out what is trending. And Monty was excited to see Jamar Chase get in the end zone.
I mean, that was a beautiful play. That was a beautiful design.
He wouldn't be on any of your fantasy teams, would he?
He's not. And knowing me, I'm probably playing against him. And I'm going to choke right now. Hold on. I'm fine. I'm fine. I got too much to say. Okay, so the Bengals scored that touchdown, that beautiful pass to Jamar Chase. They're going for 2 because the Bengals are only up by 1 right now. About 9 seconds to go against the Bengals in the first half. They went for 2. Kyle Hamilton seemed to have intercepted the pass from Joe Burrow. He ran it all the way down to, like, I don't know, the 10-yard line, was finally pushed out of bounds.
He literally ran out of gas.
Literally ran out of gas, and then they called, I think, defensive interference on the Ravens. So the Bengals got the ball again to give it another go.
They are still trying for this 2 point.
They're still trying for the 2.
They called it on him also.
He was so out of breath. He was even, I'm not going back in. And they're like, you have to go back in. What are you talking about?
And by the way, he literally was tackling the receiver. I mean, it was a blatant over-the-top pass interference on the 2-point conversion. But it was so funny watching him go down the field because he got about to the 25-yard line. And you could tell, like,
he was just like, I can't breathe
right now.
I'm done.
I cannot breathe.
That was far enough. It was almost like the scene in Forrest Gump where it's like, I'm going to go home now.
Yeah.
In the meantime, the Cincinnati Bengals have successfully converted their 2-point conversion.
Which has taken I feel like it's been 9 seconds for the entire time you were talking to Laura.
5 takes on that.
Really. So we're headed to halftime with the Bengals likely on top 17-14 against the Ravens. Joe Burrow, 13 of 18, 157 yards and 2 touchdowns, the latest to Jamar Chase. The Bears all over the Panthers in the first half, 27-7. Caleb Williams, I do have him on my fantasy, 11 of 15, 200 yards and 2 touchdowns so far in the game. The Dolphins and the Patriots, a bit of a snooze fest, but New England is on top 7-3 against the Dolphins. Jacoby Brissett, 7 of 12, 44 yards. That touchdown for the Patriots, Ramondre Stevenson, who has 6 carries, 49 yards and a touchdown. Tyler Huntley, who is quarterback for the Dolphins as they figure things out with Tua Tagovailoa, 12 of 22, 126 yards and 1 interception. The Commanders are all over the Browns, 24-3, still about 30 seconds to go in the first half. Jaden Daniels, 11 of 21, not his greatest, but 166 yards and a touchdown in the air. At halftime, it's the Jaguars on top of the Colts, 13-10. Jags again, 0-4. Trevor Lawrence, 15 of 18, 225 yards and a touchdown, which was an 85-yard touchdown pass to Brian Thomas Jr. The Texans also seem to get a little hot, but it kind of cooled down right before the half. They're beating the Bills 17-3. So it's been all Texans. C.J. Stroud, 12 of 15, 187 yards and 1 touchdown. Nico Collins, 2 catches, 78 yards, and that touchdown. He was questionable to return with a hamstring injury. NLDS in baseball continues later today. 2 games. The first one, it's the Mets and the Phillies. Game 2. The Phillies have benched all-star third baseman Alec Boehm for this game. He went 0 for 4 yesterday, kind of in a little bit of a slump, so they've benched him in this NL Divisional Series. And that game starts at 4:08 Eastern Time. Then it's game 2 between the Padres and the Dodgers. First pitch at 8:03 Eastern Time.
Yeah, for the Dodgers yesterday, look, the Dodgers know going into this best of 5 against a red-hot Padres team, they need to win the first 2 games. Here's the problem yesterday for the Dodgers. So, Yamamoto obviously did not have a good game, gets pulled after 3 innings. And so their bullpen throws 6 shutout innings, gave up just 2 hits, 7 strikeouts. Collectively, they threw 108 pitches.
Yes, they
so
made
they
it hard.
fried their bullpen yesterday, which means Flaherty will be on the mound for the Dodgers today. He's going to have to go deep because they got to give their Ben a day off.
All you're asking Flaherty for is 9 complete innings.
Yeah, exactly.
You just want a complete game, and if you need him in extras, maybe a 10th.
Yeah,
that's all. That's all, and then everything's fine.
When you have Trinan throw 39 pitches in a game, you're like, okay, well, so we'll see how that all plays out. But this, I still don't get it with baseball. Why they ask less of pitchers instead of more. Because, again, if you have to go 5 innings with a starter, have a 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, what are the chances that they all pitch well? It only takes one guy to have a bad day to lose a game. Look at the Phillies yesterday. Zach Wheeler, 7 shutout innings, dominating the Mets. He can't finish the game. You bring in your bullpen, and the Mets come back to win the game.
I get it. And you're right. Sometimes it doesn't work out. But most of the time it does, in terms of, if you ask any hitter, how hard it is to play the game now against fresh arms out of the bullpen virtually every inning from the 5th inning on. I mean, it's tough, man. You got flamethrowers every single inning.
But the numbers don't lie. The fact is, back in the day when pitchers were throwing complete games, the collective 9th inning ERA of those pitchers that won a full 9 was lower than it is now with the specialists pitching the 9th inning, because you would set hitters up over the course of a game. You may see them 4 times.
I didn't know that stat.
Yeah, so
That's
they
an
actually,
stat.
so those that actually finished 9 full innings collectively, their 9th inning ERA was lower than what we have from these so-called closers.
Change the rules. So you could take a starting pitcher out, but he could also come back in as your closer.
The analytics don't work with me. They just don't work. Anyway, let's get back to a little football right now. So we're closing in. By the way, I didn't even get a chance to talk to you about what happened on Thursday.
Oh, my God.
Where the Falcons, amazing battle,
that was a fun
shootout
watch.
with Kirk Cousins and Baker Mayfield. Kirk Cousins ends up 42 of 58, 509 yards, and 4 touchdowns in this game, obviously a career high with over 500 yards passing. And all of a sudden, everyone's jumping on the Kirk Cousins bandwagon, and I'm saying to myself, this always gets back to regular season versus postseason. Let me give you a regular season stat. In his last 9 regular season games, Patrick Mahomes has 12 touchdowns and 10 picks. That is mediocrity personified. Last 9 regular season games, 12 touchdowns, 10 picks. I think right now he's ranked 18th in the league in passing.
Yeah.
Does anyone look at that stat and say, well, he's not the quarterback he used to be? Oh, by the way, in the middle of that, 3 straight playoff wins to win another Super Bowl. So when we talk about regular season versus the games that really count, there is a difference. And so, I don't want to over-amplify a lot of times a game like Kirk Cousins. No knock on Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins is an above-average quarterback. But, wow, he was unbelievable. Remember how he could never win a primetime game? Now he is winning a primetime game. That's great. That's great for Kirk Cousins. He has 1 playoff win in his career.
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
1.
Well, so I'm glad you're bringing this up because it actually ties in well to what you were just talking about. In baseball, analytics have taken over.
Yes.
And so as a result, you're seeing more and more pitchers being used, starters going only 2 times through the order, and then they're yanked even if they're having success. And then it's mixed results with the relievers who enter the game. The reason why that's happening is because people are trusting the stats. And so if you trust the stats and you don't watch the performances, you will be very confused about what's actually happening. Patrick Mahomes is a closer. He's a finisher. He's a guy who, when the game's on the line, would you prefer to have Mahomes or Kirk Cousins? I'm taking Mahomes every time, and so is the majority of the people who actually watch these football games because they've seen Mahomes.
I think Kirk Cousins would take Patrick Mahomes over himself.
I'm fairly certain that's an accurate statement because when you watch football, you see the special nature of Mahomes come out in those clutch moments when you need it. Has it been perfect? No. Through the last 9 regular season games, has it been perfect? No. Statistically, I'm sure he has a lot of plays that he wishes he could have back, and he's leaving plays out there that he wishes he could have performed better. But when the season is on the line, when moments in games matter the most, Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs show up every single time. That's the reason why they've won 3 Super Bowls in the past 5 seasons, and they're looking to win their 3rd in a row, something that has never happened in the NFL, with a nearly perfect record so far this season.
There are teams that just know how to win. And you were on one of them, the New England Patriots. It wasn't like they would, there were certain seasons, like their undefeated season, where they, add Randy Moss and all of a sudden they're lights out and blowing people out. But for most of their run, they would first of all, they would beat the teams they were supposed to beat. They owned their division, so they would win the games they needed to win. And that's the fine line. When the game's on the line, do you know how to actually win the game?
Well, and that's the thing. So the Chiefs are 4-0, and you could go back to...
They haven't looked good all season.
A handful of plays where things have worked out either for them or against their opponents, but isn't it odd that they're always in it right at the end? There are never, nobody's blowing out the Kansas City Chiefs. Nobody just knocks the doors off the Chiefs and catches them sleeping. We were just talking about the Buffalo Bills, how it's kind of up and down with Josh Allen. It's up and down with the Buffalo Bills. It seems like sometimes they're really good and they look like world beaters, and sometimes they just get smoked. Well, that doesn't happen with the Kansas City Chiefs. And look, huge amount of credit to Andy Reid because he's a magician as a play caller. Huge amount of credit to Steve Spagnuolo, who is calling some of the best defense of his career since he signed up with the KC Chiefs. The deal is you need all parts to really make the perfect storm, right? It's not just going to be the offense or the quarterback. You need defense, special teams. You need ball security. You need all those things. They have all those things. And, oh, by the way, they have a generational quarterback talent, and that helps you out a lot in those moments that matter the most.
Halftime, Commanders dominating the Browns 24-3. Total yards in this game, Rich, 283 for Washington. Against that defense of Cleveland, 68 total yards for the Browns. It is all Commanders as they look to go to 4-1 and take command of the NFC East. Who would have thought it? All right, second halves will be underway shortly. Keep it right here for the latest. This is Red Zone Radio.
Want to know what October sounds like?
It is madness! It's gone! He did it! He did it! The most memorable home run of his career! Back to back!
Your team, your MLB postseason sounds.
Oh my goodness!
On Fox Sports Radio.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BODY to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text BODY to 321-321. That's BODY to 321-321.
Here's a little something that you missed from the Ben Maller Show.
This thing is going to drag on and on.
Here we go.
But you look at this series, you've got star power on both sides. You got Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor versus Bryce Harper and Trey Turner or Kyle Schwarber, any of those guys. But the crossfire, and here's where it is, right? You talk about this matchup, is the great debate. Is it rust or is it rest, right? Small sample size. They've only been playing this format of the playoffs for a while. So you've got the Brew Crew who were eliminated by the Mets and say, well, the Mets pitching staff's all messed up and all that. But I would still say going into this, the Mets have an advantage, and here's why, all right? Here's why. They've been in action. I don't believe in momentum. I don't think there's carryover from what happened in Milwaukee on Thursday as opposed to what's going to happen on Saturday. I don't believe in that at all, but they've been playing baseball, which is a everyday activity with maybe 3 days off a month. The Phillies have not. They've been getting their rest, right? They're getting their rest, and so chances are they will come out a little sluggish. Things won't be right. Not everyone's going to be on their game. So our hypothesis is that the wild card series winning team that ends up getting in that groove, and they have an advantage over the teams that have the bye and are iced over because they're not doing their normal routine. We're all creatures of habit. The other factor, so my theory is I'd rather be on the road in the playoffs.
To get the rest of what Big Ben said, podcast it by searching The Ben Maller Show. And as always, you can hear The Ben Maller Show weekdays from 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio. This is The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon.
Anybody who's gone to school knows that Edgar Allan Poe wrote The Ravens, and I'm pretty sure every single person who saw that, Devontae Adams posted a picture of Edgar Allan Poe, and thinks it's a reference to the Ravens. Everybody knows that. So you didn't really do a lot of work. It's something that you realize within the first 3 seconds of seeing, Devontae Adams has a picture of Edgar Allan Poe. He must be going to the Ravens. Look at the work I've done here. I've done TV detective work. We don't know who the killer is in the open, and then we play the smash cut to titles, and the next 44 minutes of television, I figure out who did it. I am a great internet detective. I figured out in 3 seconds. My work here today is done because I figured out it's about the Ravens and Edgar Allan Poe and Devontae Adams. Look at me, how smart I am.
You're listening to Jason Smith with Mike Harmon. Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. This is The Herd.
Wow, 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 wow.
with Colin Cowherd.
Mets Brewers. I said yesterday on the show, I was kind of pulling for the Mets. Because the Mets and the Phillies, along with the Dodgers and the Padres, it just feels big. Now, Milwaukee's stacked. Milwaukee's young. Milwaukee's great. And that leaves a mark, that loss. But, so here you go with Pete Alonso. And Pete Alonso is the classic power hitter. Great at the home run derby, big bombs, lots of strikeouts. Top of the ninth, trailing 2-0. Season about the end. Here it is. It's at the end. And what do you know? The big bomber, Pete Alonso, steps up. A bum into a hero in about 6 seconds. And that's what New York does.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Wow.
Weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. We know content is king.
You listening, everyone?
That's why our lineup is oozing with legends.
Welcome to the program.
We got something. We got a story.
With experience.
That's the game in life.
He used to rock his uniform the same exact way I did.
With them.
Man!
Let me talk.
And them.
Oh, you're that bloke on the radio.
And now I've got that image in your head.
You name it, we got it.
There's a difference there.
We're different. We're better.
Let that one sink in.
We're Fox Sports Radio. It's Fox Football Sunday.
Yes!
And we're marching you right down the field on Red Zone Radio.
To the 5, touchdown!
Back to Steve Hartman and Rich Orton.
2 wide receivers to the right and 3 to the left. McCaffrey and Ertz next to each other inside the numbers. McCaffrey chip blocks. Jaden loads one up towards the out. He ran. He's got him! Touchdown! Touchdown, Washington! Daniels to Brown on a bomb!
That's Big 100 Commanders Radio Network. All Commanders at halftime. 24-3 over the Browns. Jaden Daniels, 11-21. Wow. 10 incomplete passes. Who thought that? But he still has 166 yards passing, a touchdown, a pick. And, oh, by the way, he's also run for 48 yards on the ground. And the Commanders in full control of this one. So just updating the 6 games right now around the National Football League. The Bears blowing out the Panthers 27-7. Second half underway there. The Bengals have a 17-14 lead over the Ravens. Second half just beginning. Patriots lead the Dolphins, the absolute zero offense Dolphins right now without Tua. 7-3 is the score. 12 minutes to go in the third quarter. The Colts trailing the Jaguars 13-10. Jags looking for their first win of the season. Got 9 minutes to go in the third. And it's been all Texans today. C.J. Stroud and company 17-3 over the Buffalo Bills, who looked so good in the first 3 games, got dismantled last week, and their offense has completely been shut down by the Texans today.
Yeah, it's been a rough.
By the way, field goal for the Texans now 20-3.
Yeah, it's been, like I was about to say, it's been a rough go of it for the Bills this season at times, right? So, look, you look at them against an in-division rival in Miami, a 31-10 victory there. You look at them in the opener against the Cardinals, you say, hey, wow, Kyler Murray was absolutely dealing against this Bills defense, and they stormed past them. The Jaguars 2 weeks ago, that was an easy win. However, when they're facing stiffer competition now, the Ravens a week ago, the Texans today, it's not looking as consistent as it was to start the season 3-0. So one of those last remaining undefeated teams, remember there was like 5 or 6 of them at 3-0. We're like, hey, who's real, who's not? Well, if the Bills lose 2 straight, I mean, that's a pretty emphatic answer, at least early in the season, to what Buffalo's up to.
All right, by the way, we're live from the TireRack.com studios. 4 teams have the week off. Bye weeks for the Lions, Titans, Eagles, and Chargers. Bye week in week 5 in an 18-week season? That's a little early for a bye, isn't it?
I agree with you, but they could use it. Let's face it.
Well, you have no weeks off for the next 14 weeks.
They could use it early, though. I mean, they're banged up. No Bosa, both your offensive tackles out. Herbert banged up. An early bye may be the elixir that the Chargers are looking for. So what normally, I would agree with you, Steve, is an enormous red flag. Like, wow, we have our bye week, week 5. They need it. They need it worse than maybe any team in football right now.
Well, by the way, Bo I said, so your team is off this week, and he goes, no, the Rams are playing this week.
I don't know what you're talking about, Steve. It's weird.
The Rams are playing the Packers. They're right down the street here. I'm like,
I'll be down there. I'll be down there after the show's over.
So, executive producer Bo Benson, as long as I've known him, and it's been years and years and years now, he's been a Philadelphia Eagles fan.
Yeah,
and he has defended Nick Sirianni.
No,
as
not
if he
anymore.
Was family. He has talked about Jalen Hurts as if he was a cousin. You know, I mean, he was sending Christmas cards. None of them were requited, by the way. And I still championed the effort. And now here you are. You're turning your back on the family.
Man, no, like it's difficult. Can I tell you guys a funny story real quick though?
Absolutely.
So I took the under on Nico Collins' yardage today at 78.5.
I want to apologize to you on behalf of that terrible selection you made.
Nico Collins has 78 yards receiving.
Yeah.
And he has been downgraded to out for the rest of the game.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
I will hit the under by half a yard on that.
Oh my goodness! So I didn't realize. So when he walked off the field, he did not return.
He did not return after that.
Oh my goodness! And he scored on a. I mean, if you haven't been watching this Houston Texas Bills game, he scored on like a run. I mean, he got all 78 yards in one pass. Basically.
Hold on. I'm smelling an investigation on that one because he did. I mean, the guy scores on a bomb, you know, looking like he's going to have like career day, and then he just seemed to walk off.
Yeah, that's tough.
Wow.
I'm a little suspicious of that.
You know what? It was really weird how he said it's tough, and then Bo just slipped brass knuckles off his fingers and stuffed them into his pocket.
Wow.
You know what? It's also weird that we haven't seen Bo in like an hour.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have serious suspicions about what's been going on.
We have a field goal for the Patriots, 10-3. By the way, can you imagine if the Patriots beat the Dolphins at home? Miami will be in dead last. In that division.
Just like we drew it up, gang. Remember in the preseason when we were saying the Dolphins will be left for dead by week 5?
Dead.
No.
Well, I had the Patriots as the worst team in the NFL this year, and they've been pretty bad, believe me, after that opening game against the Bengals. But the Dolphins are worse.
Well, I did have the Patriots winning 8 games this year, and guess what? There's still enough season to make that case.
And there's still plenty of more action around the NFL. Keep it right here. This is Red Zone Radio.
We are Fox Sports.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $15 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults just like you. Now's the perfect time to make your next career move. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Attention, urban executives, leaders, and entrepreneurs. Want to be next level? Your opportunity for continual development is here at the Power to Win Excel Leadership and Entrepreneur Summit. Soaring above the norm. We will be sharing the codes, optimization tools, and best practices for excelling leaders through effective communication, facilitated by Roland Martin. There will be other powerful leaders like host Dr. Valerie Daniels Carter, October 30th through November 1st, 2024, at the Hilton Milwaukee City Center in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. To register, log on to ValerieDanielsCarter.com.
Fearless voice in sports is on FS1. The one and only Colin Cowherd is bold, unique, and outspoken. Wow. You can see him on The Herd, weekdays at noon Eastern on FS1 in the Fox Sports app.
Ask yourself this.
Now, here's a taste of something that you missed from the Doug Gottlieb Show. Ready?
So, Colin Kaepernick, there's a lot to go with Colin Kaepernick, but he actually did an interview with Jimmy Fallon, of all people. Jimmy Fallon, bad way to ask this question, and then Kaepernick went ahead and lied to him, and everyone's fine with it. Here it is.
There are rumors that you've been offered coaching jobs in the NFL. Is this true? Would you want to coach?
It is not true.
I'm shocked.
It is not true. I actually found out the same way everyone else did on social media. So,
Is that right? Is that
like,
right?
oh, I got a coaching offer.
Yeah, you didn't.
No,
That's
no
not
coach offer.
Wow. And would you ever coach in the future?
No interest in coaching.
No.
For me, I need the adrenaline rush of playing and being in it, or I think I can have more impact in other places with my time.
Jim Harbaugh never said he offered him a job. There wasn't any reports that he was offered jobs. That's a lot. Jim Harbaugh said, I reached out to Colin Kaepernick, I think in January or February, whenever I took this job, and I just asked him if he'd be interested in coaching. And then Jim Harbaugh's next sentence is, Kaepernick is not going to be a coach on this staff, and he's not going to be a player. There wasn't any offer. There's no formal offer. But why not clarify what the story is? That my old coach reached out to me and tried to give me an opportunity.
Huge issue with this one. It's so bizarre.
I found out like everyone else did on the internet.
Yeah.
Oh, poor guy. What a victim.
I mean, look, part of the thing of finding out on the internet, like everybody else did, is...
To get the rest of what Doug said, podcast it by searching The Doug Gottlieb Show. And as always, you can hear The Doug Gottlieb Show weekdays at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio.
Right now,
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
You know what's weird? I'm watching the game and I'm thinking Kirk Cousins has had to prove himself for probably 15 years, 16 years. If I go back to college, it feels like every game, every year, we go, I don't know. When he was at Michigan State, and he put up really good numbers, but he was overshadowed in the Big Ten. And then he gets drafted in the 4th round by Washington, and they take RG3. And then all of a sudden he gets his opportunity, gets franchise tagged a couple of times. Then he gets the first guaranteed contract, everything guaranteed. Like he's always proving himself. It's weird that I think he's going to end his career, and we're still not going to be too sure how to define his career. But I call him, he's Mr. Primetime now.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes, and you.
Weekdays, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
Let's make the complicated simple.
Colin Cowherd.
Are you ready?
Colin Cowherd.
Well, you know how this works, right?
The most interesting man in sports.
We're confusing interesting with great.
Because when he's right, he's right.
A sports and entertainment prodigy.
And when he's wrong, he's also right.
New information equals new opinion.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Making your mornings right. Weekdays at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. FS1.
Looking for the one, what you looking at the one?
To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1.
Looking for the one, what you looking at the one?
And here's what you need to know.
The Jaguars are fighting for their first win of the season.
Trevor under center, 2 tight end set, both on the left side. They run it with Bigsby to the middle of the field. There's a big hole, broke a tackle, got it to the 10. He's still grinding. He's still on his feet. He's into the end zone. Touchdown. What a run by Tank Bigsby. And the Jags have extended the lead.
You heard it all on the Jaguars radio network. They're beating the Colts 20-10 halfway through the 3rd quarter. The Texans are on top of the Bills 20-10 early in the 3rd. The Bills do have the ball at their own 35-yard line. It's been all Commanders against the Browns. 24-3 is the score early in the 3rd. The Patriots are beating the Dolphins at home 10-3 early in the 3rd as well. The Bengals are up on the Ravens 17-14 early in the 3rd quarter, but they are 3rd and goal at Baltimore's 1-yard line. And the Bears are up on the Panthers 27-7 halfway through the 3rd quarter. I'm Monty Bolaños.
This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. The plays.
How about that second effort to get in the end zone?
The hits. Your team. Your game.
You got the pads on there.
It's all broken down right here. Fox Sports Red Zone Radio is now live from the TireRack.com studios of Fox Sports Radio. Here's Steve Hartman and 6-year NFL veteran Rich Ornberg.
Enjoying every second of it. That would be the entire NFL season. Once again, this is Red Zone Radio. We're broadcasting live from the TireRack.com studios. TireRack.com, we're going to help get you there. Match selection, fast free shipping, free road protection. 10,000 recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. We have Lorena on the board today.
Lorena did an amazing job. And so Cincinnati Bulls, who just did 20 in
good.
Looking.
Oh, most valuable player. Now, this is a huge game because, the Bengals get to 2-3 if they win this. The Ravens would drop to 2-3. Is it time to question what's wrong with the Ravens? I mean, the Ravens last week just annihilated Buffalo, looked like they were back on track, got off to a hot start today. This game's far from over, obviously, 9 minutes left in the third quarter, but they lose. They were 2-3.
Well, maybe Lamar Jackson's a little nervous because all of a sudden he found out that a certain producer with Fox Sports Radio is putting hits on starting quarterbacks around the league. So we go back
happened?
to Bo Benson.
Okay, no.
Now,
hold on.
Lorena, are you uncomfortable sitting next to a known hitman? Is this
To be fair, I do have the over on Lamar Jackson's passing yardage today, so he's safe.
So Nico Collins, you've taken him out in Houston. Lorraine, are you worried about your safety? Blink twice if you're nervous.
Yes.
Okay, there it is.
She actually blinked like 5 times. That was a nervous blink.
Gardner Minshew and Kyron Williams, they should be worried.
Yeah, okay.
See, this is the problem. You're not allowed to say that out loud. What happens if they go if they turn up missing, or if somebody?
Jeez.
By the way, guys, we're missing the comeback of the year. Commanders were up 24-3 at halftime against the Browns. Now it's 24-6. Yeah, the Browns got a field goal.
Okay.
So, long way to go. Speaking of a team that's limping along with field goals today, the Dolphins got. We're hoping to see, and he's in full throttle today. It's the lowly Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, the Carolina Panthers have definitely settled back down into low orbit since taking off after bringing in Andy Dalton and benching Bryce Young. Andy Dalton having a very characteristic day for Panthers quarterbacks recently, 13 of 18, 75 yards, and his only stat beyond that is a pick. And again, a quick reminder that the Bears are having all this success, Caleb Williams specifically having all this success as they face a 3rd and goal from the Panthers 16-yard line, just threw an incompletion there. So 4th and goal, my guess is they're going to send the field goal unit on the field and take a 30-7 lead over Carolina, hosting them in Chicago. This is the Panthers. I mean, last year they were kind of scrap heaped. This year, not a lot of free agent additions, not a lot of preseason buzz in terms of acquisitions. So I don't know if there was a tremendous amount of faith in this roster from ownership. And also Dave Canales, he was sort of handed Bryce Young and saying, hey, we're not going to make major investments here until you prove to us you could fix him. And within the first 4 games of the season, he sat him down on the bench, and they brought in Andy Dalton.
The Bills trying to get back in this game against the Texans. James Cook has scored. The Bills still trail this game 20-10. Again, battle of quarterbacks has been one-sided in favor of C.J. Stroud. 17 of 22, 240 yards, a touchdown, no picks. Josh Allen just 7 of 20 passing for just 82 yards. But 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. Bills have the ball, trailing the Texans by a score of 20-10. And that's really another measure of quarterback play. Is it's sort of like a pitcher when he says, I didn't have my best stuff.
Right.
And I still got to figure this out. So I don't have my fastball. My curveball's not breaking. I got to still figure this out. And it can happen for a quarterback where, you're not having the best day. How else can I beat you? And Josh Allen certainly has the repertoire in his arsenal to figure it out. So a long way to go there. Bears end up with a field goal to up their lead to 30-7 now over the Panthers.
Yeah, and look, going back to this Houston Texans defense, obviously head coach D'Amico Ryans was the defensive coordinator in San Francisco before taking the head coaching job with Houston. He brings with him a pressure package and a defense filled with playmakers who can rush the passer. So Josh Allen hit 4 times, hurried many others. They've kind of lived in the offensive backfield of the Buffalo Bills. 6 tackles for loss so far in the day, including 1 sack of Allen. This is a sweltering defense that the Buffalo Bills are facing. The Bills up front on the offensive line, between them and their tight ends, they need to do a better job protecting Josh Allen. They need to do a better job creating some run lanes for James Cook and Ty Johnson out of the backfield, or whoever is going to be a ball carrier. They've struggled all game long so far.
The Baltimore Ravens just had a 55-yard pass play from Lamar Jackson, their Charlie Kolar, and that got him in scoring position, and they have just scored to cut that Cincinnati lead to 24-20, pending the extra point. By the way, in this game, the Bengals have done a job on Derrick Henry. He came into this game averaging 120 yards a game, leading the NFL in rushing. 11 carries, just 30 yards on the day for Derrick Henry. I will say this, though. They had Derrick Henry before this short touchdown pass play here, just take it into the line, coming up a little bit short of the score. And every time I see this guy stand up, you're reminded just how big this guy is.
Oh, yeah.
There's
a
Derrick Henry.
He's a monster.
And then there's everyone else at that running back position.
And how does Isaiah Likely get open on that corner route we just saw the Ravens convert for a score? Well, Derrick Henry is the featured back. So you influence the defense by sucking linebackers up close to the line of scrimmage with number 22 in your backfield. You fake the handoff. He dives in there. And number 55, who was the cover backer on Isaiah Likely, had no chance. He had his back completely turned to Isaiah as he left on his corner route. And so it was a pitch and catch that a high schooler could have made at the NFL level. I mean, it was wide open in the corner of the end zone. So it gets very easy when you can dominate up front on the offensive line and in the run game when you have a competent passer. And Lamar Jackson, at least when the game is within their control, if they're not trailing by too much, he can make those passes close to the line of scrimmage. Now, if you have a score lead in the second half or a 2-score lead in the first half, that's where the Baltimore Ravens get into trouble, when they have to score fast and you have to rely on Lamar Jackson's arm for an entire half of football. But in games like this, they can keep things under control and they can stick it in with the run and work off of the play action game.
Lamar Jackson's numbers pretty good today. 12 of 20, 184 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Just 5 carries for 15 yards. So we're used to Lamar Jackson getting a little more mileage on the ground, but this Bengals defensive front really doing a number today on that Ravens rushing attack. Patriots and Dolphins 10-6. Where are we right now as far as the Patriots season is concerned? Jacoby Brissett today, not doing much of anything. 10 of 18, 61 yards. Do you feel compelled at any point here that you say, let's see what Drake May has, or you just hold up?
So I was saying to you earlier this season, Steve, there is a break in the season. So they started out on the road in Cincinnati. They got that win, but then it's Seahawks, Jets, Niners, Dolphins, Texans. But after that, it loosens up a little bit. Then they host the Jaguars. Then they host the Jets. So you get the Jets at home. Aaron Rodgers not looking quite right just yet, even though that's a great defense. Then you go on the road to the Titans. You go on the road to Chicago. So you have this 4-game stretch where you're going against lesser opponents. Maybe after that Houston Texans game, heading into Jacksonville week, you could see a chance that Drake may get his first start, especially if they continue to lose with Jacoby Brissett in at quarterback. Because Patriots fans, while we are miles away from the Tom Brady days, and we've already experienced the Mac Jones era and the firing of Bill Belichick, I'd imagine Gerard Mayo, a prideful coach, former player with the Patriots,
another
wants to see some
touchdown
wins.
for the Commanders, Rich, as they continued to throttle the Cleveland Browns 30-6, waiting on that extra point. That was McNichols there off tackle, 3-yard touchdown run. So Jaden Daniels and the Commanders well on their way to a 4-1 start, all alone atop the NFC East.
Yeah, I mean, just basically doing whatever they want to the Cleveland Browns defense at this point. That's what you call just a duo run, where you have a bunch of double teams up front. Basically, you're forcing the safeties to guess right on where to fill, and McNichols was able to power forward and fall forward for the score extra point is good. Washington leads at home over the Cleveland Browns, a 31-6 ball game.
Jaden Daniels, 13 of 23, 204 yards passing. He also has 77 yards rushing in this game.
There's a 49-yard touchdown from Josh Allen to Keon Coleman as well. So that game is 20-17 now.
The Florida State rookie all of a sudden making some noise on this Bills offense. We got a ball game in Houston, Steve.
Yes, we do. Just like, when I called him out.
Just like you drew it up, right?
I can change any game just like that.
You're incredible.
Just like that.
It's the Hartman curse. Or I don't know. Maybe it's to the benefit of these teams. Maybe start talking worse about the Carolina Panthers because they're trailing by 23 right now in Chicago.
There have been many people over the years, and I've been on for a long time, decades. And I guarantee we don't hear a lot from them because they're sitting right now on their own private island, the way they have made all that money just betting against everything I've ever said. I mean, it's amazing.
We should have a segment called Fade Steve.
If seriously, over the years, if you've listened to all these years and just bet against anything I say, you would be sitting on your own private island.
You know what? This goes to show you how unintelligent I am because I've known this for years. I've literally co-hosted, I want to say,
you money.
Thousands of hours of radio with you, and I have yet to bet against you once. What the hell is wrong with me?
I have no idea, but I'm giving everybody that opportunity every single week. Colts right now trailing the Jaguars 20-10. Jags trying to hang on. By the way, Trevor Lawrence has had a day. 18 of 22, 254 yards on the score. But the Colts right now have a 2nd and 10 at the Jacksonville 13-yard line. All right, we continue on now. Fourth quarter is around the corner. 6 games in the NFL. We'll have all the scores and stats for you right here. This is Red Zone Radio.
NFL Sundays live here.
Trevor under center. They run it with Bigsby to the middle of the field. There's a big hole. Broken tackle. He's still on his feet. He's into the end zone. Touchdown. What a run by Tank Bigsby. And the Jags have extended the lead.
It's your NFL Sunday. We're Fox Sports Radio.
Sweet chocolate reward. Sweet chocolate reward.
This is not just the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat at Walgreens. This is the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat right after receiving all their vaccines in one trip. This is the sound of treating yourself, because you protected yourself.
Stop by or schedule both your flu and COVID-19 vaccines today and grab yourself a sweet treat while you're at it. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
Gain a global perspective and specialized skills that many of today's top employers are seeking with an MBA from University of Maryland Global Campus. Study online and complete your degree in just 16 months for about $21K. Choose from MBA specializations in global business, marketing, HR, finance, and more. Classes start October 16th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
They're pounding on the door. They're calling on the phone. They're threatening to close your business. If debt has your business on the brink, call Ray Reynolds, the godfather of credit. For over 40 years, Ray Reynolds has helped thousands of customers get millions in cash credit. It's no wonder why they call Ray the godfather of credit. He may even be able to raise your score above 750 before the end of the year. You could even get a new personal or business credit line up to $50,000 within days. If your credit needs a rebuild, call Ray Reynolds and receive a $1,000 cash credit card at closing. Raise your credit score to 750 or more. Call Ray Reynolds at 800-427-5991. 800-427-5991. Learn about Ray's secrets to success and how he can fix and improve your credit score to 750 or more. Call the godfather of credit rebuild, Ray Reynolds, at 800-427-5991. 800-427-5991.
It's time to upgrade your audio game. And just like Colin Cowherd did, you need to discover JLab. JLab imagines and delivers personal tech, headphones, earbuds, and office accessories that consumers want straight from their lab. Whether you're working out, jamming out, or just tuning out, JLab headphones amplify it all. There's a perfect pair for every you. It's like wearing shoes. You need a different pair of headphones for different activities. Try the J-Buds Luxe over-ear headphones for noise-canceling travel. The last thing you want to deal with on a long flight is a crying baby. Or the J-Buds Sport ANC4, offering a secure fit and super long battery life. Perfect for those long walks and workouts. Or the Flex Open, a clip-on earbud for errands and around the office. Discover your perfect pair of headphones with JLab. Look for the JLab Blue Box at Walmart, Target, Best Buy, and more. Or visit JLab.com to upgrade your sound and style today. That's JLab.com.
Two pros and a cup of Joe.
The best of the best.
Okay. This is what mornings sound like.
This is the most intriguing content that I've been a part of.
LeVar Arrington.
I was talking so much S that game.
Brady Quinn.
I'll give you the best handoffs you've ever seen.
Cool. And Jonas Knox.
Great heart, generous, caring, perfect.
This is what mornings can do.
That's like an alarm clock.
It's Two Pros and a Cup of Joe. Weekdays at 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
This is the big time.
You must have been busy, but The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Calvin Washington. Here we go. We're breaking this down.
Devontae Adams, current Raiders, for now, superstar wide receiver, got his LeBron James on Friday. I don't know if you guys saw this on his Instagram stories, @TayAdams. Believe nothing you hear and half of what you see. Signed, Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you this. Tell me. If he does go to the Baltimore Ravens and they somehow, some way make that work, they're going to win the Super Bowl. That to me would put them totally over the top. They already added Derrick Henry.
There's a handful of teams. Now, if you listen to all reports, most teams believe, most executives anonymously say they believe he'll end up with the Jets, reuniting with Aaron Rodgers. But there are some outliers. And him posting to Edgar Allan Poe, the Raven, going to Baltimore as well. Listen. That's scary. You remember, you'll be proud of me, Rob.
And I thought he also put a picture of himself eating a crab cake, right?
No, well, shout out to crab cakes. That's why I just told you need to get some crab cakes in your life, too. I'm tired of seeing wings and ribs.
But they don't sell crab cakes at Ralph's, so that's the issue.
You're right, and you shouldn't eat a crab cake from Ralph's, even if they did, okay?
But that chicken and the rib, $5. You can a 4-piece chicken for $5.
But you make a lot of money.
Or the 4-bone ribs or 5-bone ribs for $5.
Rib. You got to go to a dude with arms. He got fat on his arms. He look big. He always sweating. That's who you want to get your ribs from.
No, because you don't want to get onto the rib sauce.
I'm okay with that. We're gonna fry that off in the grill. Now let me get back to grilling this point as I was trying to make. You look at the Ravens. You'll be proud of me, Rob. Remember
to get the rest of what The Odd Couple said. Podcast it by searching Odd Couple. And as always, you can listen to The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington. Weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio. He's Steve Covino.
I'm slightly vato.
He's Rich Davis.
I may jump through this glass window in the studio.
And they do it all.
Let's talk about all of it.
Radio for the people.
I like that. Pretty solid.
Your afternoon pick-me-up.
Covino and Rich. All right.
Ooh, yeah.
It's Covino and Rich.
No woman's ever told you you're Mariano Rivera in the bedroom. Win section.
Weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. It's amazing.
Amazing.
The things that we do for you on a daily.
Let's go, Barker.
From the mornings.
It's Two Pros and a Cup of Joe, Fox Sports Radio.
Yeah. To the late nights.
They call me Moneyball Mallard. I'm in a different part of the galaxy.
Yeah. We never stop.
They know. They can't stop it.
We're always on.
We do this on a daily basis.
And this amazing content is all for you on Fox Sports Radio.
Let's finish. Oh!
You're listening to Red Zone Radio.
Back to the end zone.
We're taking you across the NFL.
To the end zone. Touchdown.
And into the red zone. Once again, here's Steve Hartman and Rich Ornberger.
Touchdown. Likely. Got it. And he beat the linebacker Wilson. And just like that, Lamar Jackson has led a beautiful drive, slicing through the Cincinnati D.
That's 98 Rock Ravens Radio Network, and that is a game. Bengals lead the Ravens 24-21, but the Bengals have answered back. They have a 1st and goal at the Ravens' 5-yard line. Joe Burrow's been red hot today, 25 of 32, 279 yards and 3 scores. So the Bengals 1-3 at home. They hadn't even won a game at home this year. We'll try to do that. That game is now heading into the fourth quarter. Once again, this is Red Zone Radio. Steve Hartman and Rich Ornberger with you. We are live from the TireRack.com studios. The Dolphins have gotten their third field goal, so it is 10-9. Patriots lead the Dolphins as we head to the fourth quarter in that game. So really, Rich, we have two blowouts. The Bears are up 30-10 over the Panthers, and the Commanders up 31-6 over the Browns. The other three games, we've got three three-point games and a one-point game. So we're in pretty good shape, I think, to get a couple of exciting finishes in this six-game slate to start our Sunday.
I agree. The biggest storylines right now are Jacksonville heading toward potentially getting their first win of the season and maybe saving their season. We saw the Bengals lurch out to an early poor start a season ago, and before the Joe Burrow injury, it looked like they really were going to save their season. And then obviously things went downhill after his wrist was injured in a game that required offseason surgery. And then you look at this other storyline that's emerging, and it circles around the Cleveland Browns and their quarterback situation, losing 31-6 to Washington. What to do with Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, what to do with Deshaun Watson, because the way it's going for the Browns right now, I was just looking up Josh Allen. We talked about this. I mean, he's had a rough day throwing the football today, just 9-22 passing, but he has different ways to beat you, and he just ran off about 20 yards right there. Bills trailing the Texans 20-7. This game was 20-3, and the Bills have had back-to-back touchdowns, so they are now in Houston territory. James Cook has had a really good day on the ground for Buffalo, 16 carries, 75 yards, and a score. And he also has a couple of receptions in this game. But we get back to the idea of when you're an elite quarterback and you're misfiring, like, okay, right, the passing game ain't working. How else can I find a way to get our team to a victory? And Josh Allen has that ability with his legs, just ran 20 yards to get them into Houston territory.
Yeah, and the offensive line, look, it's almost as if they were hearing the criticism, because over the past two drives, they've done a much better job, or really three drives, including this one, done a much better job blocking for the run, keeping Josh Allen more clean. So halftime adjustments are super important in the NFL. You can get snuck up on, especially with a game plan defensive coordinator or defensive staff like D'Amico Ryans has in Houston. They're going to find the stress points. They're going to make sure to lean on you in the first half. It's up to you to adjust. And so huge amount of credit to Joe Brady and his staff on offense, shoring up some of the things that we saw Josh Allen and the Bills struggle with in the first half, because they're answering the call here in the second half. End of the third in Houston. They're still leading. The Texans are 20-17, but Buffalo Bills ball, and they are driving.
Chase Brown on the receiving end of Joe Burrow's fourth touchdown pass of the day, 31-21. Bengals lead the Ravens, just the start of the fourth quarter in that game. Joe Burrow is looking like the MVP I predicted he would be this year, 26-33, 283 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no picks. Jamar Chase, 8 catches, 104 yards, and a score. T. Higgins, 7 catches, 63 yards, and a couple of scores. This is the Cincinnati Bengals offense I've been waiting for all season long, and they're doing it at the perfect time against their division rival, the Baltimore Ravens.
I mean, that's the good news. Here's the bad news, so hold on to your hat. The Bengals, they give up a ton of points.
Yes, their defense is awful.
They are giving up 26 points per game through the first 4 weeks. They're a little bit better in yards per game, but obviously this is a game determined by points, and however many points you score, or however many points get scored on you, those are the outcomes that everybody's taking a look at. They're in the bottom 10 teams in the league in terms of points scored against, and so that's a huge problem for the Cincinnati Bengals. And the Ravens, at times it's felt like they could do whatever they want with the football, and so even though this is a 10-point game right now and it's Cincy's ball, trust me when I tell you, or I should say it's about to be the Baltimore Ravens ball. Trust me when I tell you this game is far from over.
All right, the Jacksonville Jaguars trying to hang on for their first win of the season, and they have just scored again. Trevor Lawrence, a touchdown pass to Brenton Strange. And just like that, Jacksonville winning on the extra point. Oh, actually, extra point is good. And Jacksonville leads Indianapolis 27-17. No doubt Trevor Lawrence has been under fire, but today he has been tremendous. 23 of 27, 332 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did throw a pick. But, we've been talking about, we keep looking back at that 2021 quarterback draft where you had 5 quarterbacks in the first 15 picks. 4 of those 5 quarterbacks are no longer with their current team. The one guy that is, Trevor Lawrence, has been struggling, but today he's looking like the quarterback that you would expect to be a number 1 overall pick.
When you look at Trevor Lawrence and you see what he's done over the course of his career, he's not the problem in Jacksonville. I understand a season ago he threw a bunch of interceptions. But again, if you're just looking at the stats, you're missing the nuance. When you look at the games and the plays, especially a lot of those picks earlier in the season for Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars, it was in and out of the hands of a lot of his receivers. I can't tell you how many tip ball interceptions were caused defensively against the Jacksonville Jaguars. But look, the only person who gets credited with that stat is the quarterback. And so it is a little bit of, hey, you are in some ways who you work with. Now, Aaron Rodgers made the most out of the situation in Green Bay, even though he never had a first-round talent at wide receiver during the course of his career there. But he was able to get the job done. So at some point, the blame will shift to Trevor Lawrence, especially after he got that huge contract this offseason.
The Commanders have scored again, this time on a field goal, so they now lead Cleveland 34-6. And obviously, it's been a horrific day for the Browns offense. They only have 123 total yards. Deshaun Watson, 10 of 22 for 94 yards. But a bigger question to me is this. What happened to the Cleveland defense? We got 2.5 minutes to go in the third quarter, and Washington has over 400 total yards of offense. They have 182 on the ground and 221 through the air.
Hey, did the Colts just score? Was that a touchdown I just saw, or did that go incomplete? We're going to take a quick look at the play-by-play.
All right,
there.
I do not see the Jaguars had just scored to take the 10-point lead.
Yeah, they were playing a replay there. Yeah, so Baltimore Ravens, by the way, got the football back, and it looked like Lamar Jackson just tore off an enormous run. Again, this game being played in Cincinnati, 31-21.
But I think they got a holding call against the Ravens.
No, this is the play right after that. So Bengals right now leading by 10, hosting the Baltimore Ravens. But Lamar Jackson just tore off a huge run out past midfield into Cincinnati territory. But then the Baltimore Ravens on the ensuing passing play, just got called for a hold. So they're backed up 1st and 20 from about midfield.
Did you have a holding call at all in your senior year, in your third-team AP All-American senior year at Penn State?
I don't doubt it. I would say I had a holding call every single season I played football. At the high school level, the collegiate level at Penn State, and the few teams I played on.
How many times would you get called for a holding call and you would laugh saying, let me get this straight, you're going to call me for holding on that play and you didn't on the previous play?
Well, now
I mean, okay, yeah, sort of I held there, but you missed a doozy. On the last drive.
There are times where you are so baffled that an official, because there are times where you'll make direct eye contact with an official and be like, not only did I hold him, I tackled that guy to the ground. And then you're like, you're not going to throw the flag? And it's almost like a nonverbal agreement, like, not this time.
Well, so see, I would look at him saying, all right, so we have an understanding, right? In other words, okay, I can get away with that. They try it again. They're like, whoa.
Yeah,
I thought we had a deal here. I thought we had a little thing going here, right?
Well, sometimes they'll come up to you and be like, look, I had to call you for one of these. You need to stop. Like, you know what I mean? It's almost like when you're a parent and your kids are going wild. It's like, you knew eventually I was going to yell at you. I mean, this is just absurd. And so that's what the officials' jobs. They're playing parent, and they can't let you jump off the top bunk.
All right, let's find out what is trending right now in the 6 games around the National Football League. Monty, how's your fantasy football doing? Well, you have Caleb Williams.
I am this season. Up and down, some are good, some are bad. It's been a weird start to the season, you know? So
for everybody.
For everybody. So it's like I'm good and I'm bad. Like I did play Sam Darnold in a league. In another league I have Caleb Williams. In another league I have Josh Allen. So I have a lot of emotions going on right now. Let's just say that. But we'll start with Caleb Williams because he's having a pretty good game. 17 of 25, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Bears having their way with the Panthers. It's 30-10. A whole quarter is still left, but it's pretty much been Chicago this game. The Ravens and Bengals game has been back and forth. The Ravens right now at Cincinnati's 19-yard line, but the Bengals are on top 31-21 early in the fourth quarter. Joe Burrow, 26 of 33, 283 yards, 4 touchdowns, which is a career high for him. But let's talk about Derrick Henry. He started things off for the Ravens with the rushing touchdown. That's his 100th career touchdown, by the way. And he has officially surpassed 10,000 rushing yards.
Yes, that 10,100, let's face it. He's got first ballot Hall of Fame.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So he still obviously has plenty of game left to get some more rushing, and I mean, he might be getting the ball right now. Okay, moving on. The Patriots and the Dolphins. New England on top, barely 10-9. Early in the fourth quarter, all of the Dolphin scores have been field goals. The Commanders just crushing the Browns. Is Deshaun Watson still in the game? I don't know why. 34-6 is the score with 1 minute to go in the third quarter. Jaden Daniels, 14 of 25, 238 yards and 1 touchdown. The Jags trying to get their first win of the season with Trevor Lawrence doing what he can. 23 of 27, 332 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Jaguars are beating the Colts 27-17 halfway through the fourth. And the Bills for a second looked like they weren't ready to play. They've come alive in the second half. The Texans are still on top 20-17 early in the fourth quarter. CJ Stroud, 21 of 27, 282 yards and 1 touchdown. For the games still to come, a couple of ins and outs. Packers wide receiver Christian Watson and cornerback Jair Alexander are inactive against the Rams. Rams veteran cornerback Tre'Davious White is a healthy scratch for this game. 49ers tight end George Kittle and linebacker Fred Warner are active against the I put 49ers twice. It's the Cardinals against the Cardinals, and Max Crosby is active for the Raiders as they take on the Broncos. Last thing here, the AP Associated Press college poll that we talked about yesterday when we saw that Alabama lost to Vanderbilt. Well, Alabama dropped to number 7. The top 5 all moved around except for Georgia stayed at number 5, Texas back in at number 1, Ohio State 2, Oregon 3, Penn State 4, and Georgia stayed at 5.
And Alabama drops
to 7.
From 1 to 7.
Correct.
Wow.
Yes.
That's what happens when you lose to Vanderbilt.
Yeah. You know,
Vanderbilt.
It was all your fault, remember? You jinxed it.
Yeah, I did it. I can do that.
You did it.
I can do it. I can do it to anybody. Touchdown pass, Lamar Jackson to Charlie Kolar, 2 yards, and the Ravens right back in. This is quite a shootout game right now. The over was an easy play here, apparently. The extra point is good. 31-28. Bengals lead. 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Important note from that drive there. Mark Andrews has been found. He's turned up. He came home.
Yes.
He's off the milk carton. He had 2 big catches on that drive there.
He did. He did. They did not throw it to him in the end zone, though.
No, but he fell down at the 2-yard line and tried to get up, but couldn't do it.
Yeah,
but,
you saw Lamar Jackson's frustration there. He's slapping his helmet like, why'd you get in? You're so dumb. Why'd you do that to me?
By the way, while we are getting updated from Muncie, Joe Flacco took off on a run.
Yeah.
And I'm watching him, and I'm thinking, literally a year ago at this time, he was sitting on the couch.
That's right.
He had not been signed by the Browns yet. He was out of football. He was watching these games like we are on his TV. And then all of a sudden, he's in a game, and he's got to scramble. And by the way, he actually showed some pretty good speed, but I got to imagine when that run was over, you're a little bit gassed. It's like, because it's one thing to run. It's another when you're running away from people that want to kill you.
Yeah.
And, then I see him, he's lined up in the shotgun for the next play, and I'm thinking to myself, he got to be saying, okay, breathe. I got to get this play off. Amazing.
I don't know who had it on their bingo card today, but a 25-yard rush from Joe Flacco, I promise you, was not on mine. So if B39, if that hits on your card, you are the lucky winner there. Yeah, Joe Flacco is turning in another pretty stellar performance for the Indianapolis Colts, who absolutely needed a backup quarterback who could fill in because Anthony Richardson injured again. He's 30 of 40 passing, 225 through the air, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He's also been sacked 3 times, so keeping his composure. Even though the Jacksonville Jaguars are doing a good job getting in his kitchen. He's been hit 4 times. He's been sacked 3 times, as I mentioned. The Jacksonville Jaguars defensively, over the course of a couple of seasons now, have impressed against the run. They're getting some tackles for loss. They've forced 5 negative plays so far, or should say plays for negative yards for the Indianapolis Colts. But still, the Colts are in this football game only trailing by 7.
All right, the Panthers getting blown out today by the Bears, as Caleb Williams has had by far the best game of his rookie season. Bears leading this game 30-10. The Panthers, they were showing David Tepper, the much maligned owner of the Panthers. By the way, going into this game, 31-63 is the Panthers' record since Tepper bought this franchise. So I'm watching this guy, and he's sitting by himself, up in the owner's suite. There's literally no one around him. He's just by himself. And I'm thinking, all right, you are being panned as the new worst owner in the NFL. Daniel Snyder's gone. David Tepper, Carolina Panthers, worst owner in the league. This guy's a billionaire. Would you really be bothered being a billionaire knowing that no matter how bad your team is, you're still going to make more money because it's the safest investment in the world to buy into an NFL team if you want to make money? You think David Tepper is really bothered as a billionaire that his team sucks?
If I had to guess, I would say yes, and I'll answer that question in just a second. But as Houston was starting to put together a pretty decent drive out to the Buffalo 33-yard line, C.J. Stroud just got intercepted.
Yep.
Bernard came down with it, and so it's going to be Bill's ball right there at their own 33-yard line, trailing by 3, fourth quarter, 8 minutes left in this affair. Houston Texans leading 20-17.
We have another touchdown for the Cincinnati Bengals. Jamar Chase again. 5 touchdown passes for Joe Burrow. Hello, MVP.
Wow.
Hello,
Joe
MVP.
Burrow is having a day, and so are his favorite pass catchers, or I should say favorite targets. Jamar Chase has already caught 2 touchdowns on the day.
9 catches, 174 yards for Chase.
2 touchdowns on the day. Chase Brown, he's thrown a score to him as well. 353 yards, 5 touchdowns for Joe Burrow.
Hey, that's MVP Joe Burrow. I could be right on this yet.
MVP, most valuable Burrow?
Well,
you can make that argument.
Well,
there's only one.
Well, you made the point, obviously. The Bengals better keep scoring because their defense can't stop anybody, and the Ravens have been answering back seemingly every time the Bengals again. So, again, getting back to David Tepper as he watches his Panthers get embarrassed once again. And by the way, Jacksonville has just broken off a touchdown run.
Whoa, that is huge. Yeah, Bigsby, I think it was a run. We caught it late.
Tank Bigsby.
It was off the right tackle, and he takes it all the way to the end zone. So we'll get a replay on this, but Jacksonville right now leading 33-20.
Doug Peterson looks pretty happy there. So pending the extra point, trying to take a 14-point lead here and looking for their first win of the season.
How did he get the football? That's the question. We need the instant replay, but
yes,
that was an impressive run after.
You guys know why the Jags are winning this game today, right?
Okay, tell me why.
Look at those uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
Those throwbacks.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's the old logo.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
You know
well,
what?
you know what? You stay with
the
it.
Broncos debut theirs later too, so they might win by 50.
Yeah,
Hammer the Broncos now, America.
Okay. You know what?
All right. So,
actually, Steve, if you could say something negative about the Broncos so America will know.
I won't, because, I picked the Broncos. I already gave them the kiss of death by picking them to be the wild card team or a wild card team with a rookie quarterback.
Look what you've done to poor Bo Nix.
But then they won. He was awful last week. He had 60 yards passing, but they won against the Jets.
True. I mean,
they're 2-2, and they're very much in it.
Arguably the worst half of football we as a staff here at Fox Sports Radio have ever had the displeasure of not enjoying. That was ugly of a game as we could have.
If I can recall, in the first half combined, the Jets and the Broncos had like 60 total yards.
There was a
combined.
There was a point where I can't remember if it was Nix or Rodgers, but one of the two starting quarterbacks had 15. No, it was Bo Nix. He had 15 or 16 passes for -7 yards.
No. It wasn't quite that bad. No, but he had at one point he had 7 completions in the game, and nobody had positive yards receiving.
That's what I'm saying.
They were negative yards passing.
He was like
4 receivers,
7 of 16, and he had -7 yards.
Yeah, 4 receivers had caught passes, 3 had negative yards, and the other had 0. That's when you know you're humming with that Sean Payton offense. All right, the Jaguars are extra point is good, 34-20 now. Jags in control, 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Are you going to answer my David Tepper question?
I did. Well, so I did. A very short answer.
He's a billionaire who is the laughing stock of the NFL.
He does care. I promise. He does care. Now, don't get me wrong. He's still making plenty of money. The value of his asset is still worth as much as just about anything you could ask to own in the world right now.
Touchdown Dolphins have taken the lead here, Rich. Finally, in this game, they've been trailing the entire game, but a short let's see, who was that?
Alec Ingold gets in for the score. 15-10 ball game in New England. Patriots succumbing to what felt inevitable, even though, look, Tyler Huntley isn't the answer. And I was going to say this about the Colts, who very intelligently went after Joe Flacco this offseason. The Dolphins, look, you pay Tua Tagovailoa all that money. What does that just cure the problem of him being often injured? The answer is no. You need to have a good backup quarterback if you're going to have Tua be your starter.
Well, Tyler Huntley was a Pro Bowler. Remember that a couple of years ago when he had like 2 touchdown passes?
A fifth alternate to the Pro Bowl. And Tyler Huntley couldn't win when he was the backup with Baltimore.
Yep.
It happened constantly with Lamar. He would get injured. Tyler Huntley would go in. The Baltimore Ravens would lose. Same thing with Skylar Thompson and the Miami Dolphins. Every time he's in the game, the Dolphins lose. I'm not saying it's all his fault. I'm not saying football comes down to one player, but I'm saying you do need to target, if you have a fragile starting quarterback, a good backup. And guess what? The Dolphins have 2 bad ones.
All right, the Dolphins 1 for 2 did not get it. 15-10, Dolphins lead the Patriots. 4:24 to go in the fourth quarter. We're coming down the stretch on games around the NFL. We'll have all the updates for you. This is Red Zone Radio.
Football is for the weekends. And the reactions are for Monday. Listen to the best Break It Down. 2 pros and a cup of Joe with Jonas Knox and NFL veterans LeVar Arrington and Brady Quinn, Dan Patrick, and Colin Cowherd. The best reactions on a Monday are right here on Fox Sports Radio.
With all the uncertainty in the economy, the pre-election wobbles, is my money really safe? That's when I discovered the power of a gold IRA from Noble Gold Investments. It's a tangible asset that can help protect your wealth when times get tough. And with Noble Gold Investments, it was so easy to roll over my existing IRA into a self-directed gold IRA. Their experts guided me through every step. I've diversified my retirement portfolio with something real. Don't wait for the election uncertainty to threaten your financial security. Vote for the timeless safety of gold and silver in 2024. Oh, and hear this. They're giving away up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account. Just visit noblegoldinvestments.com now and use the promo code TRUMP. That's noblegoldinvestments.com.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
I'm going to prove all the doubters.
When Dan Patrick speaks, you better stop and listen. This is the Dan Patrick Show.
Yes, Todd.
I don't want to skew negative, but since I'm known to do that, I know it's a Friday.
How are you going to do that?
It's a question that needs to be asked. Pete Alonso, in the lore of Mets history and everything, what if the Mets get swept or win only 1 game in the NLDS against the Phillies? Where does this put the Pete Alonso home run last night?
I don't know. He could be Andy Chavez or something. I don't know. Is that who you were going to say, Marvin?
Yes. Yes. That catch was unbelievable.
Yes, it was.
It's like a Jermaine Kearse. He was like on that level of that play was so great until something else happened.
But Pete Alonso is kind of famous for not really doing anything other than winning home run derby, and he plays for the Mets. Like, he's had a couple of good. His rookie season, what did he have? 52 home runs.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had some moments there. But it's one of those where he came to the plate, and I thought, oh, this has got double play written all over it. This is going to be pop out to first baseman. And then when he hit it, I thought, man, he stung it. But when it's opposite field, it's really hard to gauge that because you got side spin on it, and it looked like it was drifting. And I go, oh, my God. And then they had the carve out with the bullpen, and it just cleared it just enough. But, I mean, he got it. He went after it, and that's a good reliever, too, man. I mean, if you're a Brewers fan and you're already thinking about the next round because, you stand and, of course, nothing bad's going to happen because we're cheering and we're going to close this out. Oh, no. Oh, no.
If you want to know what Dan Patrick said next, just podcast it by searching The Dan Patrick Show. And as always, you can listen to Dan Patrick live weekdays, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. On Fox Sports Radio. This is the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon.
Anybody who's gone to school knows that Edgar Allan Poe wrote The Ravens, and I'm pretty sure every single person who saw that, Devontae Adams posted a picture of Edgar Allan Poe, and thinks it's a reference to The Ravens. Everybody knows that. So you didn't really do a lot of work. It's something that you realize within the first 3 seconds of seeing, Devontae Adams has a picture of Edgar Allan Poe. He must be going to the Ravens. Look at the work I've done here. I've done TV detective work. We don't know who the killer is in the open, and then we play the smash cut to titles, and the next 44 minutes of television, I figure out who did it. I am a great internet detective. I figured out in 3 seconds. My work here today is done because I figured out it's about the Ravens and Edgar Allan Poe and Devontae Adams. Look at me how smart I am.
You're listening to Jason Smith with Mike Harmon. Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. This is The Herd.
Wow, 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 wow.
With Colin Cowherd.
Mets Brewers. I said yesterday on the show, I was kind of pulling for the Mets. Because the Mets and the Phillies, along with the Dodgers and the Padres, it just feels big. Now, Milwaukee's stacked. Milwaukee's young. Milwaukee's great. And that leaves a mark, that loss. But so here you go with Pete Alonso. And Pete Alonso is the classic power hitter. Great at the home run derby, big bombs, lots of strikeouts. Top of the ninth, trailing 2-0. Season about the end. Here it is. It's at the end. And what do you know? The big bomber, Pete Alonso, steps up. A bum into a hero in about 6 seconds. And that's what New York does.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Wow.
Weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. This is a friendly reminder to step your listening game up.
Here we go. Spoiler alert.
You want NFL? Here.
He is in the Hall of Fame of business in the NFL.
The Steelers are an Amish country.
And they run their team like they're Amish.
Need some NBA? Got it.
I covered the league since 1987.
Wow. MLB? Sure. Why not?
The best Major League Baseball talent of my life.
That's not close. It's Shohei Ohtani.
We're Fox Sports Radio, the premier sports lineup in the nation. It's Fox Football Sunday. Yes! And we're marching you right down the field on Red Zone Radio.
To the 5, touchdown!
Back to Steve Hartman and Rich Ornberger.
Joe, who's thrown 4 touchdown passes to tie his career high, throws a short pass to Chase. Nice blocking on the edge.
Baby.
Jamar to the 40, spinning to the 50. It's a foot race. Jamar to the 30, the 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown! 70 yards.
Bengals Radio Network. What a day for Joe Burrow. 353 yards passing, 5 touchdowns. Bengals lead at 38-28, but the Ravens have gone right down the field again.
I can't even describe to you what we just saw. So Lamar Jackson in the shotgun gets the snap, drops the snap. So he's fumbling around on the ground trying to pick up the football, finally does. One of the Cincinnati Bengals defensive linemen breaks through the middle of the offensive formation and tries to tackle him. He stiff arms his helmet. He loses about 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. The same defensive lineman regroups, tries to tackle him again. He stiff arms him again. He has now floated 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So after the second stiff arm, Lamar Jackson sets his feet and then starts waving his hand, motioning his hand to one of his receivers downfield. And then right before he gets smoked out of bounds, leaving his feet as he throws, he finds Isaiah Likely for a leaping grab in the back of the end zone between two Cincinnati Bengals defenders. I mean, this is video game stuff. What Lamar Jackson makes look easy, I promise you, is unfathomably difficult at this level. That was one of the most amazing plays we've seen.
Game up for grabs, to say the least. 38-35 now. Bengals lead the Ravens. We still got 5+ minutes in this game. Mentioned Joe Burrow, 5 touchdown passes. Lamar Jackson has 4 touchdown passes and 301 yards passing. So, by the way, also 50 yards on the ground. The MVP, reigning MVP, looking every bit that. So a shootout going on in Cincinnati right now between the Bengals and the Ravens. Meanwhile, the Colts are back in this game against the Jaguars. Jaguars trying to get their first win of the season, 34-27 now. Jaguars lead the Colts, and the Colts have the ball with 3.5 minutes to go. So let's see if Joe Flacco can come up with some answers. Flacco in this game, 32 of 42, 294 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks. We've seen some pretty impressive quarterback play today. Subpar, overall, it hasn't been a great year so far for quarterbacks, but today we have seen some vintage quarterback play. So we're going to keep our eye, obviously, on that game. Speaking of vintage, Caleb Williams, 304 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. The Bears are about to score again. They have a 1st and goal at the Carolina 1-yard line. Bears lead that game by a score of 30-10.
Yeah, the Bears did score. Roshan Johnson punched it in, and the Panthers were not happy about that because they immediately started pushing and shoving their flags everywhere.
Okay, well, yeah, that's that fighting spirit. Bills and Texans are now tied. So the Bills have come all the way back to tie this game on a field goal. 3:18 to go in the fourth quarter, and the Texans lead the Bills, tied at 20. So the Bills, and we talked about it, wasn't a great passing day for Josh Allen. Find other ways to get it done, and the Bills have come all the way back to tie this game on the road.
Yeah, it's been an impressive comeback for the Bills because, again, in the first half, they were getting trounced by the Texans. Everything was turning up Houston. In the second half, they've pressed all the right buttons, and they found a way to tie this ball game with 3:18 remaining.
I mean, if Josh Allen, who is 9 of 27 passing.
I know.
9 of 27 passing in this game, and they're tied. So, again, figure out a way. That is a sign of a really good quarterback. All right, we got some exciting finishes coming up around the National Football League. Which games will go down to the final play? You'll find out by keeping it here. This is Red Zone Radio.
We are Fox Sports. Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? I think my battery's dead. With free battery testing and charging, we can help you get back on the road.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
So what if I need a new one? We have the right Duralast battery for you, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
And what about my old battery? We can recycle it right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details.
Go! Check them out.
FS1.
Check them out.
FS1.
This is
The Herd.
When Colin Cowherd drops the info,
The Herd.
you need to listen.
Everybody listen up!
Kirk's been good for a long time. 10 years in the NFL. Nobody doubts that. But, unless you're really into stats, which I am, and I think some of you are, but what are the big moments? And the Minnesota Miracle is actually Case Keenum. And so do people know that he has 15 game-winning drives in the last 4 years? Not only is that most in the NFL, including Mahomes, that's 4 more than any other quarterback. He also has the greatest comeback in league history for a quarterback, 33 points. He's also the first player in NFL history after last night to have 450-yard passing games for 3 different franchises. Reputations are earned, however, and early in his career, Kirk had a reputation that he would get in standalone or primetime games, he would get tight and a little anxious. By the way, that was Peyton Manning's reputation for years in the NFL. First 4 or 5 years, Peyton Manning and Kirk Cousins. Smart guys, detailed, very precise, very regimented. And if you could get them off their game a little bit, it's a long game. You have to sit around in the hotel at night. Maybe it was that. It got them off their game. I don't know exactly what it was. Maybe I can ask Kirk later this hour. But whatever it was, Peyton Manning eventually broke out of it and was beating Brady at the end. And Kirk Cousins has the last several years broken out of that. And last night, just think about this. Think how long a football field is. He passed for over 5 of them. It was an all-time performance. And by the way, his teammates let him down a little bit. Now, they made great plays, missed a couple field goals.
If you're eager to find out what Colin said next, just podcast it by searching The Herd. And as always, you can listen live to Colin Cowherd, weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, on Fox Sports Radio.
Right now,
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
You know what's weird? I'm watching a game and I'm thinking Kirk Cousins has had to prove himself for probably 15 years, 16 years. If I go back to college, it feels like every game, every year, we go, I don't know. When he was at Michigan State, and he put up really good numbers, but he was overshadowed in the Big Ten. And then he gets drafted in the 4th round by Washington, and they take RG3. And then all of a sudden he gets his opportunity, gets franchise tagged a couple of times. Then he gets the first guaranteed contract, everything guaranteed. Like he's always proving himself. It's weird that I think he's going to end his career, and we're still not going to be too sure how to define his career. But I call him, he's Mr. Primetime now.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes and you.
Weekdays, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, on Fox Sports Radio. Ben Maller.
The General of Degenerates has arrived.
Heard of him?
I've worked with Ben for a long time, and he has all these wild takes and flies off the handle, and, I got to kind of bring him back down. It doesn't work, but I try.
The man is a living monument to ineptitude.
He's Ben Maller, and he's talking all night long.
So I've got Vin Diesel,
Kangaroo Court, and Tommy Lasorda.
It's the Ben Maller Show. Weeknights at 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific, on Fox Sports Radio. FS1.
Call your friends and ask how they doing.
To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details.
Boom. Trust your eyes.
FS1. And here's what you need to know.
Lamar Jackson cannot be stopped.
Lamar in the shotgun. Lamar bobbles the snap, has to pick it up off the turf. He's being chased, corralled, stiff arms a man, Sam Hubbard, and finally slings in the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Isaiah Likely. Oh my, unbelievable.
Rock Ravens radio network on the call. The Ravens cut their deficit to 3 with that touchdown pass from Lamar Jackson. Bengals are on top, 38-35. 3 minutes to go in the game. Bengals have the ball at Baltimore's 33-yard line. Joe Flacco has just tied the game for the Colts with a 65-yard touchdown pass to Alec Pierce. So they're tied with the Jaguars at 34 apiece with 2 minutes to go in the game. The Bills and the Texans are tied at 20 apiece with 2 minutes to go in the game. And the Dolphins are beating the Patriots 15-10. 1 minute to go. New England has the ball. I'm Monty Bolaños.
This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. The play.
How about that second effort to get in the end zone?
The hit. Your team. Your game.
You got the pads on there.
It's all broken down right here. Fox Sports Red Zone Radio is now live from the TireRack.com studios of Fox Sports Radio. Here's Steve Hartman and 6-year NFL veteran Rich Ornberger.
Joe Flacco in the shotgun formation. Play action. Good protection.
Lost it downfield for Alec Pierce. He's got it. 30. He's at the 20. Down the far sideline. 10. 5. Touchdown. I-N-D-Y. Alec Pierce with fireworks in the fourth quarter. He strikes again. It's 34-33. And the Colts are 1 point away from tying the game.
That's the Colts Radio Network. They have tied up their game against Jacksonville. Hang on, folks. We got exciting finishes around the NFL. This is Red Zone Radio. We're broadcasting live from the TireRack.com studios. TireRack.com will help get you there. And unmatched selection, fast free shipping, free road hazard protection, over 10,000 recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. So we have 4 games right now that literally are going to go down the wire. We just had an interception by the Ravens as the Bengals are driving. Bengals leading the Ravens 38-35, 2.5 minutes to go in the fourth. Joe Burrow had been perfect, but not on that pass. Intercepted, so the Ravens take over down 3, 2.5 minutes to go. Meanwhile, the Patriots are looking at a 4th and 10 at the Miami 12-yard line, so they seemingly had a touchdown that was taken off the board. So Miami still leading the Patriots 15-10. There is 1 minute to go right now. So 4th and 10 for the Patriots at the Miami 12-yard line to keep their hopes alive in this game. Colts, Jags tied at 34. Bills and Texans tied at 20.
Yeah, 20 yards, and the Texans under 2 minutes. C.J. Stroud just threw it out to his running back, who scampered close to the yard they needed for the 3rd and 10 conversion there. Also, they're getting within field goal range here, and there was a petition for a targeting call. All
right, so this is it for the Patriots right now, and there's a flag, and they got called.
By the way, on the Patriots touchdown reception that was taken off the board, was it Polk? I think it was.
Yes.
Who caught the ball, and he only got 1 foot in. He was ruled out of bounds, and it looks like
Jalen Polk right there
just got called for a false start.
Can you believe that? So false start moves them back now. 4th and 15, again, down 15-10. And they can get a first down. They're at the 17-yard line without getting in the end zone. So right now, Jacoby Brissett trying to come up with an answer here to keep the Patriots' hopes alive. Meanwhile, Jacksonville is trying to get into field goal position to win their game. There's a throw into the end zone. Bodies are falling all over the place, and there are no flags, and that is going to do it. The Dolphins, who were down early in this game, they are going to come back to win this game by a score of 15-10. All right, so we got 2 games that are tied. One of them, the Jaguars, right now are at the Indianapolis 31-yard line, and they are going to attempt a field goal to take the lead. There are 20 seconds left in this game. This is not a chip shot. This is going to be at least
that's a long
48 yards.
Yeah, so not a gimme here. Game tied 34-all in Jacksonville. Colts able to come back into this game. 49 attempt officially.
And meanwhile, the Texans are also to get into field goal position right now to win this game against the Bills. Texans led throughout this game, and now they are at the Buffalo 39-yard line with a 3rd down. So this is going to be a key
flag. Yeah. So we got intentional grounding against C.J. Stroud.
Oh, that's brutal because that's a loss of down and everything.
Oh my gosh! Talk about they're within field goal range.
The field goal is good for the Jaguars. They have taken a 37-34 lead. 17 seconds remaining. So the Jags, who led throughout this game, look like they were in danger of losing it. Don't count on Joe Flacco though. The guy's got magic. He's got 17 seconds left.
Flacco's elite.
All right, so now...
You know what? You leave Joe Flacco 17 seconds.
Okay.
You left him too much time.
So all of a sudden, the Texans got taken out of field goal range with that intentional grounding. They're all the way back to midfield, 4th and 15. So they're going to have to punt the ball away. And I don't think Stroud didn't get it out of bounds. The ball bounced in the field. He was in the pocket. That is intentional grounding. I wonder if he understood that rule.
No, he certainly did. Yeah, he certainly did.
You
he
have
knew
to
it
get
as soon as he let go of it.
You have to get the ball out of bounds, and it landed on the field while he was in the pocket. So now the Texans are going to punt the ball away in a tie game, 44 seconds to go. So right now, this one smells like an overtime.
Yeah, this looks like exactly what you're saying. And
the punt,
beautiful punt.
Yeah,
it's going to be down inside the 5-yard line.
If you're
so
Buffalo
Bills,
right now, do you even take a chance, or you pretty much run it out? and just say, let's go to overtime.
Hang on. Here's the problem. The reason why that was such a beautiful punt is you have no choice but to start running plays here because you can't take a knee when you're at your own 3-yard line because you're in danger of getting a safety.
Yeah.
So you got to make room. So a wonderful job by Houston's punter making this hard on the Bills because they're going to have to operate some form of offense here. Meanwhile, in Cincinnati, we have another tie ball game.
No, Cincinnati's up by 3.
Oh, sorry,
38-35. So
38-35.
Lamar Jackson right now has got a 2nd and 10. They are in Cincinnati territory. The Bengals defense has offered little resistance. What are they doing right now? They're wrestling on the sidelines.
Also, by the way, so have the Baltimore Ravens, who are touted as one of the best defenses in the league coming into this season, and there have been a couple of real lapses by the Ravens defense so far this season.
Oh, we got a face mask, blatant face mask. Did they call it?
It was missed.
Oh,
it was missed.
That is as blatant as it gets. So 3rd and 5 right now for the Ravens. They missed a face mask call that would have given an automatic first down.
He was signaling to the officials. The reason why it was a continued wrestling match is because he wouldn't go down. He was signaling to the refs, hey, he got a handful of my face mask. But right now on the Cincinnati Bengals 38.
And Lamar Jackson is angry because I think they just got called for a delay of game.
Yeah.
No, I think they got a timeout in.
So I bet that was Harbaugh. There it is. So the Baltimore Ravens called timeout. 1:43 left.
Lamar
in this
Jackson
game.
spiked the ball out of anger when they couldn't get the playoff in time, but apparently they were able to get the timeout to avoid the penalty. So again, just to reset, the Bengals lead the Ravens 38-35. There's 1:43 to go, and the Ravens have a 3rd and 6 at the Cincinnati 38-yard line. So
Josh Allen and the Bills going for a deep pass down the sideline. It falls incomplete. Looking for Hollins down the sideline. Ball fell incomplete at the 50-yard line. Allen took a hit in the end zone.
Okay, now what do you do now? It's 3rd and 10. You throw another pass.
Yeah.
You're punting out of the back of your end zone with 20 seconds left.
So it's just like I said, the reason why that plus 50 punt was so great by the Houston Texans is because you're forcing the Bills offense to have to get some yardage here, and they haven't been able to. They haven't moved off the 3-yard line yet.
And Houston has all 3 of their timeouts.
Correct.
All right, the Colts right now, here we go. I got this game on 2 different pictures right
here
there.
Here
we
go.
Okay, so we've got
a 4th and 10 after an incomplete pass by Josh Allen. So the Bills will be punting out of their own end zone here.
Out of the back of their end zone. Meanwhile, an incomplete pass by Lamar Jackson sets up a 4th down right now. So it's 4th and 6. It would be a 55-yard field goal attempt to try to tie it. Of course, you have the all-time legend, Justin Tucker, who, by the way, has missed both field goal attempts this season from 50-plus. The most accurate kicker in the history of the NFL. The kick is up, and wow, look at that slice job. It looked like off his foot. He had totally hooked it, and it just sliced right down the middle. He blasted that thing.
I was in golf. He just drew that one back, and 38-38. We have a barn burner in Cincinnati. The Baltimore Ravens able to tie it up off the foot.
You don't see that
Justin
often.
Tucker.
I mean, it came off his foot like he hooked it, and it just suddenly changed course and ended up splitting the uprights. Plenty to spare.
As he was viewing the goalpost, there was a fairly stiff breeze from left to right because the flags were pinned to the right, and so he aimed for that left upright, and finally the wind hit the football and was able to push it back in. And so that's good for 3 points and good for the tie. 1:35 left in that game.
By the way, Raiders at Broncos, Cardinals at 49ers underway. The Raiders have already scored on a Minshew to Brock Bowers. That kid's going to be a perennial All-Pro, Pro Bowl tight end. Touchdown Raiders 7-0 early on against the Broncos.
And Monty Bolaños leaps to her feet in excitement because I'm assuming her tight end position or flex position is filled by Bowers. And so we have an early score for her fantasy football team. Meanwhile, this has what started off as a slow first half across the NFL, only a 6-game slate in the early window on Sunday. We have, 4 close finishes, 5?
Well,
it is
right now,
unbelievable.
we have one game that's over, but we have 3 others that are very much alive. We got Ravens-Bengals tied at 38. We got the Bills and Texans tied at 20. So it is a final score. The Jaguars get their first win of the year. They survive against the Colts 37-34.
5, it doesn't matter. This will be the last play in regulation.
And that is hooked. No, it's coming back.
Oh my gosh!
59 yards to win it. The Texans win. 59 yards. I'm telling you, the Bills blew this. Why were they passing the ball? They needed to run clock.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow, they gave the Texans opportunity, 59-yard field goal to win it.
I agree with you, Steve. When I said that it was a beautiful punt and it's going to force the Bills to run plays, what I meant was you're going to want to run that ball off your goal line.
For most of the 53 seconds, and the Bengals are actually running a play right now instead of passing. They're trying to clock run. The Bengals have 3 timeouts, and they're letting the clock run, Rich. They got a 4th and 8 right now, so they're going to let the clock run down 20 seconds, and then they're going to punt the ball away. So the Bengals could not get anything going on that drive, they're going to punt the ball away with about 8 seconds left.
Don't get me wrong. I'm assuming enough time to take a knee and put this game in overtime. Yeah. But
Kyler Murray just ran 50 yards for a touchdown.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Yes.
50-yard touchdown, and the Cardinals take an early 6-0 lead, waiting on the extra point. The extra point is good. 7-0 Cardinals on the road against the 49ers. Murray runs for 50.
Well, Murray's finally healthy. And so we've been onto the scene. I mean, we saw him in that early Bills game. He looked great in that game. And the Cardinals.
For the latest on that game and so much more, this is Red Zone Radio.
NFL Sundays live here.
Cook puts it down. Little kicks it up, and the field goal is good. He drilled the 49-yarder, and the Jags take a 37-34 lead.
It's your NFL Sunday. We're Fox Sports.
Required price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ams.com/JOY.
The success you've had in life matters. The late nights, the extra shifts, the moments you've stood up and said, I've got this. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we value your achievements because we're a school for real life. With UMGC, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and life and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer scholarships, affordable tuition, and online and hybrid classes, all with the support you need from your first day, 100 classes starting October 16th. Apply today and put your goals within reach. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
It's time to upgrade your audio game. And just like Colin Cowherd did, you need to discover JLab. JLab imagines and delivers there's a perfect pair for every you. It's like wearing shoes. You need a different pair of headphones for different activities. Try the J-Buds Luxe over-ear headphones for noise-canceling travel. The last thing you want to deal with on a long flight is a crying baby. Or the J-Buds Sport ANC4, offering secure fit and super long battery life. Perfect for those long walks and workouts.
See if we can upset a fan base today.
Yeah. It's life.
My wife goes, what are you going to do? Football?
It's the Dan Patrick Show.
Yeah. In the right offense, he can be that player.
Bringing sports and life together.
Man, I love doing this job.
Weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific on Fox.
Knew that the changeup was coming, and he was able to sit on it and hit a home run. And I got to say, I'm glad that this has not gone anywhere, because I got to be honest. Watching this, I watched all 7 minutes of this breakdown that he holds the glove a little bit closer, just a tiny bit closer to his body, and the glove is a tiny bit center. I don't think you can see that. I really don't. I think, honestly, as lights out as Devin Williams is, right? Because honestly, he's almost like the next Rivera, right? Because Mariano Rivera got by for most of his career on 2 pitches, and in the end he got by on 1 pitch, right? That cut fastball. But he has 2 pitches. He has a fastball, he has a changeup.
Want the best?
We're waiting.
A straight shooter.
That's the kind of guy that I am.
2 words. Doug Gottlieb.
Yo, let me grab this mic right here one time.
Better yet, Coach Gottlieb.
Now you got it.
Admit it. Your afternoons just got better.
Dude, you get everybody in, you look them in the eye and go, let's
Line up work.
I think the contrast of
On in sports.
Wherever, whenever, quality.
for sure.
That sweet sound.
It's how we do sports.
Hey, we're talking about sports.
I get paid to yell and call people to get fired.
This is Fox Sports Radio, the premier sports lineup in the nation.
Let's finish. Oh!
You're listening to Red Zone Radio.
Back to the end zone.
We're taking you across the NFL
To the end zone. Touchdown.
and into the red zone. Once again, here's Steve Hartman and Rich Ornberger.
Cook puts it down. Little kicks it up. And the field goal is good. He drilled it. He drilled the 49-yarder. And the Jags take a 37-34 lead with 17 seconds to play in the ball game.
Jaguars Radio Network, just one of the many exciting finishes we've already had today in the NFL. Once again, this is Red Zone Radio, and we're live from the TireRack.com studios. All right, we're in overtime right now in Cincinnati.
Oh, my gosh. Lamar Jackson just fumbled another snap, and Cincy has the football, and they're out to the Baltimore 43-yard line. So Lamar, in the fourth quarter, an unlikely connection with Isaiah Likely on a fumbled snap, which, by the way, was a good snap. He just dropped it in the fourth quarter, was able to recover it, scramble the sideline, and deliver a perfect strike to Likely. This time, it happens again. And again, he just flat out dropped this.
He got too casual with the ball, and it just went right through his hands. It was a direct snap. It got away from him, and the Bengals recover in Ravens territory. So right now, just unbelievable.
So since he
that
kicks
was not a bad
field goal,
snap, it was a perfect snap.
Since he and the last one was he's fumbled now 2 snaps in this game. Look, center is a tough position to play.
Right.
I used to play center.
Yes.
Okay. And you get one for a lot as a center. Anytime there's a fumble snap, they say, "What'd you do?"
Yeah.
And you him, and I mean, you got, but sometimes you just got to focus on the moment.
That is unbelievable. So the 2nd and 10 right now for the Bengals. They're at the 38-yard line, obviously, at this point. A field goal on either side ends this game.
Wow.
But just there, and they get a field goal. So 7-3 now, Cardinals lead. And the Raiders lead the Broncos by a score of 7-0. We have a couple of other games that are going to be kicking off any second now. We got the Giants on the road against the Seahawks. It's funny, last week, the Seahawks in defeat, I think, may have impressed more people than they had in victory. A lot of people thought the Seahawks are really up against it when you have both Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp out. When your 2 wide receivers are out, it makes it very difficult. All right, 2nd and 10 for the Bengals right now at the 38-yard line of the race, trying to get into at least field goal position and win this game. It seems like,
tracking it this season as well, I'm astonished by how accurate these kickers have been beyond 50, but
crazy.
It's like 50 is the new 30.
It's unreal. We just saw Fairburn just drew
3
but
in the
still,
fourth quarter.
I mean,
so he's got ice water in his veins.
I don't understand this. First of all, after a turnover, you got all this momentum going, right?
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
And it's like you got Joe Burrow who's thrown 5 times.
Going to ice his kicker, McPherson.
He wants to ice him to get him as nervous as possible.
Just want to give him a little bit more time to think about this really, really super duper important kick that is going to vault them into.
Kick is up, and he hooks it.
Wow.
He missed badly.
Wow.
So McPherson, what did they just do?
More Ravens.
He must.
Oh, no, it was a bad hold.
Yes.
Another good snap. By the way, the short snapper, he put it right on the holder. It hit him in the chest, and as he's bringing it down, it slips out of his hands. And so McPherson should not be blamed for this one.
Not at all. Not at all. It's amazing he actually got the kick off.
Jeez. That was incredible that he did get that kick off, but the ball was floating in the air as the holder was trying to readjust it.
I am still baffled by those 3 plays.
I agree with you.
I mean, 3 runs up the middle for 3 yards and a 50. 3 is off to the races.
Oh my God,
Derrick Henry, he's going to run into. He's down to the 5-yard line. So Derrick Henry
is
in, and now the Ravens are a chip shot